What's up, everybody? Welcome to Boom TV's Nick A30's Invitational, and it's all going to be for $20,000 featuring Fortnite. My name is Sancho West, alongside Caster Lash in the building. Lash, how are you doing today, brother?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic. Today, it's nice, sunny, skies out, and a great day for zero build competition. And boy, oh boy, is this going to be stacked. I am so pumped.
It is going to be like the stackiest buttermilk stack of pancakes you could think of. It's the summer, no sweat. We're all going to have fun here, but it's all going to go down on the Fortnite Island. And you talked about stack. We'll get into that in a bit if you're just joining us. Thank you so much. We are here at Boom TV, twitch.tv/Boom TV. We're going to be the hub. We're going to keep you up to date with all the leaderboards. We're going to show you what's happening throughout the entire map, jumping to different POVs. But all of our players, or most of them, are streaming, so definitely give them the support. You want to see their POV? They're live right now getting ready for today's games. And Lash, today's games are going to be really fun and exciting.
True that. And honestly, let's talk a little bit of meta here. Like, I'm really liking this kind of little freestyle, if you will, no sweat kind of vibe that we had in the last update. You got boogie bombs now thrown into the fold. You got porta-forts. It's going to be insane just based off the fact of how stacked this is going to be based off of just positioning wise and how these teams are going to lead up to that point.
Absolutely, and it's going to go down in these custom games that we have here in zero builds. We're going to have five games to determine who is going to be the winner, and it's going to be so exciting. You're going to have points for elims, points for placements. We'll keep you up to date throughout the entire time. After every game, we'll try to hit a leaderboard to show you what's progressing, what's happening, who's in the lead, who's not, who's some of your favorites that are in the struggle. So that's what's happening here. 5 games, so we got, maybe 3 to 4 hours of good times here, Lash.
True to that, and we, got a lot ahead of us as far as where these teams are going to continue to go, but we got to jump right into where these teams are truly fighting for as we have the prizing moving on through, where first place, $6,000 total, Sacho.
Wow. $6,000 going to go to the lion's share of the overall prizing. $20,000, that's a lot of moolah here. And no, Nick A30 is not part of the prizing. It's not his money, I could tell you that. It might be. I mean, Nick looks happy to be able to distribute this, but there is the prizing. So, hey, top 8, dude. That is, whew. We have a stack lobby and only top 8 make the money. Lash, we're talking about a big battle up ahead.
Big battle up ahead for these teams, and they're fighting out of the whole lion's share of 50 teams. Comes down to that top 8, and this is where, all right, they gotta make sure their strategies are down, checking that drop map, making sure they're good, they're chilling on the drop spot, and they're not necessarily getting a sneaky contestant around there in those moments. So that top 8, $1,000 to start rising up your dollary dues, and you're absolutely chilling.
Ooh, chat, that's what's gonna go down to. That's gonna be that $20,000, and of course 5 games we're going to be throwing it down. We already talked about the hype. We already talked about the no sweat summer. Let's talk about what teams will be fighting for that $20,000, and let's take a look at this, chat. This graphic literally looks like the ultimate Mortal Kombat of the Fortnite scene. Lash, talk about the who's who of the zoo.
Truth to that, it's a whole zoo out here, and you got to pick out your best animals to run out the show. And I'm liking a lot of teams here. You got Nick Merckx, you got Aiden, maybe battling out at Tilted Towers, who knows? And then you got a lot of recalling names around here in the zero build scene. You have Somerset, Bravo, Tifu, Zemi, and including even Thieves and Replays. You've got a lot of top tier names here, and even some pros jumping in the mix. So it's going to be very interesting to see how all of these, what colors are these teams going to mixturize?
Absolutely, and at the same time, there's a lot of new talent rising in the zero build scene, combining with the FNCS scene all together as one. I got to give a shout out to Clutch Shot as well, coming from the TikTok side of things. There's over 1 million followers, so you got to respect Clutch Shot as well. Very strong player, but there's so many players that have been very active in the quick zero build slash. You got a lot of players that are scrimming and a lot of players participating in different tournaments, and they're going to be very active, and I expect those names to be on top of the board. If you got to pick only 3 duos, Lash, who would be the top 3 that you expected, at least in the money?
I'm thinking 1, Bravo Somerset. truly insane. They've been so consistent throughout the zero build scene since basically the very beginning. 2, Prospering, Zuma. They're ready to take over. I believe Prospering's just an absolute beast. And then 3, I'm going Nate Hill and NPen. So far, uncontested Rocket Reels. I think that'll roll through.
Yeah, okay, Lash. Sometimes what I think is the caster tries to overthink a couple of things. We need to put some respect on the one and only zero build gods of Tfue and Zemi. Yeah, you gotta watch out for those two. Those two are very dangerous, and those are not the ones you're gonna be on the other side of the crosshairs. But at the same time as well, we gotta put some respect on the king himself of all the crowns, collecting them left and right. Ranger, alongside Noah W. Plays has some great experience in set lobbies. You already mentioned it as well. I got to go with a dark horse pick. We got Punisher and Landjock as, doing really well. Old school names, representing so well in the FNCS currently. But you know what? You got to watch out for Bewitching and Chicken. They had a great showing. They're going to be one of my dark horse picks as well. But any dark horse pick you have here, I'm going to throw a little curveball. Anything that you want the chat out there to kind of go for.
I'm going to have to go with here. The old school, the classic duo, Nick Merckx and Aiden. I think they're going to be able to rock and roll up towards that top of the leaderboards. Maybe sneak right into that, top 5, top 8, possibly.
I like that dark horse pick. And of course, chat, you saw all those competitors there. We got to get them all on the battle bus. So we're going to go ahead and take a 5-minute break. It's going to be fast. Get your water. Get your popcorn ready because the show's about to begin. From a quarter mile, I can see you at the call. All right, y'all, we're back after that break, and of course, you're getting prime and ready for game 1 that's just right around the corner. I am Sancho West alongside with Lash. Thank you so much for joining us here at Boom TV. Of course, this is the $20,000 Nick A30 Invitational featuring Fortnite, and we talked about the stack amount of rosters that we have here. So many different players from all different types of platforms: Twitch, YouTube, TikTok. Lash, we got to talk about the man on the marquee, Nick A30.
Big time facts, and Nick A30 alongside his teammate of Moo. I believe in this duo. I'm going to be straight honest. This is a duo that definitely is surprisingly underlier. You mentioned it, his own tournament, and he's still an underdog, but Nick A30 joined alongside his duo that he played FNCS with as well throughout this past season. I think their chemistry is going to be able to lead them up towards that top as well.
There was a couple of good things that I saw between Moo and Nick A30. Moo is a very strong in-game leader. Nick kind of respects him in that sort because their relationship is so brand new, and for them to gel so well, no doubt, we got to keep an eye on Nick A30 and Moo. But like I mentioned, there's so many names in this entire tournament. One that I kind of really like here is I like Sparkles QT and Infi. A very interesting duo. Not only a duo in the Fortnite world, but they're a duo in life. I mean, they're fiance and fiancé, Lash, and that kind of comms is going to be awesome, and I cannot wait to see what they can do out there. But any other names that you like in this tournament today?
Any other names that I'm maybe looking forward to? I gotta give a shout out to the Bonsai Bros. They've had their
no. don't do that. Don't do that.
They've had their run of the go, zero build. They're ready for it. They're ready for the taking. Bonsai Bros, they're right here. They're all primed up in their suits. I mean, come on. What better chemistry can you get than twins?
Look, man. I know they're dressed for, getting married, or, they're at a marriage, whatever. but they're being dressed for a funeral today. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to make it out. No. In all funness and all seriousness. Bonsai Bros, yes, I agree. Both Sean and Travis have been doing the work in zero builds. They are demons out there, and no doubt they could cause some noise and maybe steal away a game. But, folks, I'm getting word that the games are ready to go. The bus is filled with all the competitors, and it is 2 minutes to launch, okay? Just get ready. Okay, Bonsai Bros. Okay, I like that. Let me think. Anyone else, Lash, that I could tear down that you enjoy? No. Anyone else that you have that your eye on that our audience should know? Like I mentioned, there's so many great players in this entire thing. We talked about Nick Merckx. We talked about Aiden. I'm just looking on down. We have Day, Kawanti. They're great. Zemi, Tifu, Rody, Sizz Lucky. Anyone that you like that maybe we need to put a little bit of a spotlight, a little bit of a shine, let everyone out there know who they should keep their eye on.
Hey, I'm gonna tag one of the players that you just mentioned there, Day and Quanti. They're dropping over there by the Rave Cave right now, and they're generally used to that answer and pretty much habitat, if you will, around that area. So I'm confident in this dual pro combo that necessarily isn't quite very known in that zero build scene quite yet, at least. This could be their, big rise to the top. They're like, all right, full on game here, but folks, it's time. Game number 1. Starting off, the battle bus is beeping.
Here we go, folks. Game 1 of the $20,000 Nick A30 Invitational here. We got a split here going from the West Coast all the way to the East Coast. And we're going to see who is going to be dropping and where we're going to see the fireworks. Because, hey, there's not a lot of space here, Lash, for people to kind of look at it already tilted, filled to the brim with competitors.
I'm not quite surprised. These players are all fillering in, like you said, and now they're just kind of, revving it up. I guess the engine is just now starting warming up to that top pillar. We got to start off here. Logjam Lotus, Nick A30, Moo Academy here, and now they're just kind of vibing out. They've taken the whole POI to themselves. I mean, you got to give respect to that tournament organizer.
Looks like Rangers picking up a knock against Demi down into the south. Be able to clear that up as well. Some quick fireworks happening here. That's going to be a couple points for a Rangers team. And Noah W plays, who has a lot of experience in the zero build. Looks like Rody takes out Cozy. Rody, one of those teams that you liked as well going in today's games.
Just a little bit, but Rody's kind of firing back, but instantly knocked down by Pixie here. Pixie, another one of those tremendous zero build players here. So early off spawn, they're going all in over there at Tilted Towers as it's so stacked up.
Now we're going to see Nick A30 here working this kid. Another team that I like, of course. You got Punisher, friends with Nick A30. Who was not friends with Nick A30? He's such a nice guy. But Punisher and Landjock going to their usual FNCS spot, and they're going to hold it down here. And so I like this team. They're familiar with their rotates. Punisher plays a lot of zero builds as well in this quick zero builds, and he has experience with Landjock. So this is one of those teams I think they may be in the money.
Yeah, and you mentioned it a little bit during the pre-show, like you said, and just there, too, as well. Like, they have their entire rotates down to a T, basically. They know exactly what they're doing. And a little bit I like here is they're going for those fish. They're going for that new 0 point, or I guess you could say reintroduce 0 point flopper. And now they're, leaving it alone for now, but floppers are as well just as huge, especially being down here to the downside of this bottom left map.
Nick Merckx and Aiden picking up a couple of points as well. The big dogs coming back to Fortnite, getting the job done. And we'll definitely do our best to keep tabs on all the early action that's happening. We're just doing a little bit of a flyby and carousel and showing you who's who, what's happening here. Now going into that fray if Tilted Towers, right above Pawn Shop. Nick Merckx and Aiden already 3 elims, and they're kind of performing as expected, Lash.
I was interested to see how they would adapt here because since they last played at least zero build on stream, at least from what we've seen, they've, been out of touch at least for a couple updates, a couple new things. You got Boogie Bombs, Portaforts in here, but no matter what, Nick Merckx and Aiden, they come back every single time and they come back and dominate. Already 3 eliminations on the board. They're feeling good. The Kings at Tilted Towers, they're back.
Let's see if they can hold on to that royalty as well. A lot of royalty from the Fortnite world. the multiple-time FNCS champion Reverse 2K here alongside with Versa, who is well-versed in zero builds coming out of Condo Canyon. If you're rooting for this team, you gotta hope that zones pull their way, because the Condo Canyon rotate is not gonna be that easy. But back to the action here at Tilted Towers, and I gotta say, as Bravo knocks Ben Kurt, the NFL players, Aiden and Nick Merckx, they don't got a lot to work with here. Taking a look at their inventory, they have to take this nice and slow.
Gotta take it slow back. You know, it's just like a campfire. You can't just jump right in just right away and get warm. Nah, you gotta ease up, especially if you're cooled down off right away. But for Nick Merckx and Aiden, they got hot quick, and now they're kind of feeling that heat. They're getting burned a little bit, so they had to back out of there. They're like, all right, we gotta cool down a bit. We gotta get our loadouts fully back up, and this is where we kind of get in that conversation of rotations for these players, kind of getting used to, all right, where do we need to go to find that natural cover here in zero build?
And rotations won't be a factor right now for them, considering they did pull zone 1, so it's going to be a more central zone here. If we take a look to where the center is, and Prospering and Zuma, what did you like about Prospering and Zuma's team here, Lash?
I see the names on the leaderboard, so I pick Prospering and Zuma. I see them, and I'm like, all right, you know what? I like these two. Up and coming of Zuma, as well as the well-known Prospering. This man is just an absolute beast. Got the aim, the eye of a tiger, if you will. So I like their confidence, if you will. But for Tricks, he's got to live without right now of Elixir coming out of that Jonas's spot. Elixir completely gone, and now they're pretty much out of their environment.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough today for Elixir and Trixiaga. They're going to keep knocking on the door of Prospering and Zuma. Prospering, like you mentioned, a lot of experience playing with Tfue and Zemi into these zero builds quick cash cups. They rule the entire regions, no matter what ping that they are. So that is what they're going to be dealing with on that north side here of Loot Lake, or the remnants of that, of course. And as we're seeing here, see Brum here trying to hold on alongside with partners swearing. A lot of people there in the center point considering that rotations would be a factor, but teams like Reverse 2K and Versa, like I mentioned, coming out of Condo Canyon, will have to make rotates.
Got to make those rotates. But the car is massive for them right now because they're just able to hit the drive-by on plenty of teams here, and they're running up. But Zemi in the elimination feed, already picking up the elim onto Smacked here very early on. A nice elim to pick it up very shortly, and I'm not surprised. From the hands of Zemi, alongside Tfue, they're running and gunning for those elims instantly.
A couple of a lot of inventory that you're going to see throughout the entire day, folks. If this is your first time watching Fortnite in a while, you got the Port-a-Fort and Vorsis here. It is an instant fort that is going to basically kind of be just instantly placed right in front of him. And right now, Versa gets some beams on Clutch Shots Duo. This is going to be a world of pain now. Reverse 2K coming up in. The Flare is going to be that new item that's going to be able to mark teams inside of buildings. And that's what's going to be a bad situation for Clutch Shot and Ruthless here. Ruffles here, the cat, is not going to be in a good spot here. And they ripped out. That's a clutch ripped out. And they're going to be able to get away free considering that Versa and Versa 2K are inside the building.
They were right hot, running and gunning. They were just like, all right, we don't want any part of this fight. Let's get out of here. Let's take the rift, and let's make sure we don't fight Reverse 2K and Versa here very early on, because it's still zone number 1. You don't want to go all in on a brawl this early, especially with this many players alive, because you never know when a third party could be lurking around. But Reverse 2K, Versa, they went from so high up that pacing to instantly straight down, and they even got the skins ready for this bush.
Oh, absolutely. You're going to see a lot of these outfits here. Clutch Shot does get picked up, though, when he ripped away. Sap Games picks up that elim. As you look on the top of your screen, that is the overshield. That 50 that you see is a part of the zero builds. Once that goes down, then it eats into the shields and health of the player. So you get basically a free couple of moves or rotates. You get tagged a little bit. It's not going to be the end of your day. You don't have to dip into the shields or into your floppers. You have an opportunity to kind of continue and move along your way. But that might be the case for Mega's team here, as they're pinned down by Nate Hill and Impin. And this is going to be a strong position here. The shockwave that goes out a little bit, and Mega picks that, gets out by Nate Hill. Oh my, it's just with this position here, it's just not going to be easy for Mega's duo.
Not easy whatsoever, not one bit. And especially sending yourself in that backside of Storm is a position you never want to be in. You mentioned it when we were on Aiden Nick Merckx at Tilted Towers. Like, positioning is the main key here, and if you can't get it via cars or rotation via shockwaves or even in porta-forts.
Or
I mean, you
grapples,
you gotta find a way going in. Exactly. Even the grapple gloves too as well. Like, you need to find that rotation early, or otherwise you're gonna slip back just like we saw there from Mega and Co.
And you're seeing right here, TK, another inventory item that's vital. Cow catchers. If you see anyone in the stream that they have these cow catchers, that it's another way to create a fortified position. It's great at height, and if you get caught in the pinch, you could throw one out here. So now we're taking a look at all inventories. We're seeing people making rotations. It's always this transition from zone 1 to zone 2 where a lot of people fall. We've been seeing the feed light up here very early here. People are getting active, and Coop and Nalzi, they're not looking good. Now on board to the other side of the map here. Maddie and Oliver. And then there, but Pun is down. Pun goes down to Voil. Voil gets that, and Redis knocks Aiden.
A huge Elims Nox coming through. Punisher, though, staying safe for now. As shots continue to rain fire as Maddie and Oliver have taken over a quite safe side. This is so smart for them right now, especially realizing how stacked this is right now around this side of the island. So they've taken the cover of that kind of hut, if you will. But in the meanwhile, Somerset is now down in the elimination feed. So Bravo still a solo out there in the wild. But speaking of out there in the wild, Nick Merck's now down. Aiden needs to find some kind of time to pop this revive.
You're seeing right there, the cow catcher just going to slow this down here, but it's Nate Hill in the truck, driving down Nick Merckx here. They're going to clean that up. Impin and Nate Hill, they're the ones that could definitely win a game or two here. And Aiden and Nick Merckx get taken out. And you know why, Lash? It's their rotation. I'm not a fan of making that rotate because considering that their loot was not that strong enough, they ran into the stronger team of Impin and Nate Hill.
They ran right into the big dogs out there in the open. Nate Hill and NPen are just out here frying everybody that they can sight their senses on, and they're rocking out here practically in a monster truck with this cow catcher tossed right on. They are a team to be aware of. If you are anywhere in the vicinity, you better get out, especially with Storm Surge now in a warning period. You gotta hit your rotates, you gotta hit them safely. For this team in the backside, they are truly struggling.
That Surge is going to be up for a bit here, no doubt. They're above the threshold, but in 0 builds, it tends to go away quite quickly because, like I mentioned, the rotate here from Zone 1 to Zone 2 could be quite treacherous as Bewitching and Chicken on that rotate escape the grasp of Nate Hill, but they go right into the hand of Creox there, and that is what's happening as Rash takes out the rest of that. And just like that, in a blink of an eye, so many people going down in this rotate. And Nate Hill and Impin, you're seeing what they're putting together here, Lash. You got Nate Hill with that repair torch alongside, like you mentioned, the monster truck. That thing's going to be quite scary at in-game.
Talk about a beautiful strategy already just coming into fruition right now for NPen and Nate Hills. They're taken up upon the mountainous hills up here. They know exactly what they need to be doing in here. And same thing goes for Thieves and Replays as they're trying to hit that replay rewind. And that's the Bonsai Bros just chilling back there trying to get out of this zone. But they are being pinched severely, now getting ticked down to literally shambles of HP left remaining, and now they're pretty much left in the backside. But Thieves and Replays find their attention onto some players here in the back end. They're going back and forth, shockwaves around, right in onto DeRoller. DeRoller finishes it out though with that beautiful pump shot. Replays tries to go back in, Freaks go up. Now it's left for Replays to try and solo clutch up. Damage coming in on his back end. He's got a shockwave up, but the air is never the freeway.
Talk about taking battles, and so many battles are happening now on the edge of Storm here. Parsec goes right in, but that port force not too high. It gets eaten up, devoured by the caves of Shifty Shafts. And Legion now on the south side. So much fireworks happening. Day takes out Maddie. Coot takes out Blaya. Oliver goes down. Hippie, as you're seeing, we just saw that in Colazzo. All victims of the rotate there to Zone 3. And we're just seeing the fireworks still keep popping as Zemi gets some elims. And wow, Lash, talk about a show right now happening here, right in this transition to mid-game.
Not only are we seeing Storm Surge come into play in the big stacked official standard competitive battle royale, but nah, this is 0 build and it's still raining absolute terror. That Storm Surge scared so many of these players and brought them into those fights there, and now you just see a big time change. You see the consequences of that damage coming in for a lot of big teams already going down, and now the teams that fortified their rotations, fortified their positionings are really succeeding right now.
Nick A30 still in this fight, as you can see on the north side, trying to walk his way through. Typical gamer, the legend of the NA West scene, alongside Rich Homie Quinn in this fight as well. Got the prime shotgun, the new shotgun, the inventory. Back to Nick A30 and Tfue, now butting heads on top of the mountain, but Nick A30 goes down, and Zemi and Tfue stand tall and get Moo out of pasture here. But Tfue goes for the weak side rotate. Zemi cleans up Nick A30, and they are gone. Some big titans colliding, and it is Tfue and Zemi with 6 elimination, adding Nick A30 and Moo to that tally.
What a race. We even talked about it earlier. Zemi and Tfue, they are not going to let the foot off the gas pedal at any point. They're not going to let you choose any decision to get out of the battle. And Pam Stout is kind of copying that same line, but Rift to Go catches out the opposing player right there. Yeah, a solo. Still right here, underneath the bridge. Pam Stu, he's got to find his way out of here at some point. He's on the edge zone, but for now, chilling. Now, well, how's that porta fort? I think we can definitely see that come into play.
No doubt, porta forts are erecting all over the map here. They are weaker. They made a balance change to them. They are weaker now in 0 builds, just a bit here. Alex Remy lining up the feet a little bit. Ranger lining up the feet. We've got Dan Quanti holding onto a cow catcher, but just a sliver of that shoulder gets exposed, and this cow catcher is going to go down. They were able to refresh it. Quanti with a nice response here. You're going to have to do that in 0 builds, but the boulder from behind causes the chaos. Down they go.
What a smart play from that opposing team right there. They were just like, all right, you know what? You want to camp right back there? Free elims. Say less. Cease was right there, said, give me that elimination. I'll take that right there. TK, headshot check. Little bit of trouble. Have to bounce back away from zone. And that's how you know you're in a little bit more of a trouble atmosphere when you get separated from your teammate and then have to come back together away from that zone. That's when things start to really turn into that, all right, yo, you better get things back together in the firm foundation. Otherwise, you're going to start to see that closeness start to slip.
And you're seeing TK headshot check making that rotate into zone now. Headshot check has played a lot of games with Prospering very well right now for TK and headshot check. They have a lot of experience together. We got 3 elims as Trixiaga takes out Ranger. Now we're seeing the rest of them. Everyone's kind of coming down into this Rave Cave area here. There's just anything they can do, jumping into vehicles, but it's not enough to stay alive as Cease cleans that up on Jirian. But TK and headshot check are now making their way through on a very shambles 127 HP. It's all about getting in. But you're looking into this, Lash, you got to say the teams that are on top of these hills have a strong position, especially when Jake has a big dog of a porta fort in his inventory.
Most definitely, especially having that loadout to victory. Notice how Jake only has a striker burst in the inventory. Leaves Sap Games as well to have that SMG in the inventory. So this loadout looking mighty beautiful, but I think it might be time to toss down that portal fort. Yep, I think they heard me. You know, it's like I had an announcement through the game, like, yo, throw down the porta fort, boys. Y'all are in trouble. You're getting sniped out here. You got to get that little bit of extra protection.
Now everybody's just easing in as headshot chick now goes down, and TK goes down to Cease. Another cleanup for this duo who have been waiting in this building for anyone just to rotate through. Noah W picks up Trixiaga, and Prospering takes out Punisher. There it is, on board with Prospering, one of the few boats that we had as a be able to finish in the money. Now in a very tough spot considering that he does not have the elevation, and if Jace just looks down, he's gonna have the angles here, because when it comes to 0 builds, yeah, no builds, but it's all about angles, Lash. And you gotta say right now, Jathan Sap Games, if they pull zone, they have a chance to win it all.
Different angles will put you in different tangles, and for Sap Games and Co, around here at the top left half of the island right now, they have a big time zone advantage. But Tfue taking out Nate Hill right there, as it appears the aggression from Nate Hill kind of got him in trouble there going down. Not too sure if NPen is down there as well, but we're gonna have to see as we transition back. Easton Walker's here in another one of those big time positions, also near the porta forts all around. So we're seeing that quite literally come in massively to play.
I like what the use of there of Tfue and Zemi using the porta fort as just a simple base there. Not utilizing the height, but just utilizing those metal walls here. And that's Prospering that we were talked about. If Jake got any win here, and Prospering has no choice but to eat a lot of lead as he's trying to climb up the hill. Gets knocked by Jathan Sap. They don't pull, but they have one more porta fort and their inventory. They got a lot of things to work with as well. Shocks They most likely picked up a llama, and they're going to pick up a lot of elims here on this next rotate.
They're absolutely vibing. They've taken over the entire zone basically in their hands as they picked up the duo of Zuma and Prospering. Already early, massive, but you have C-Bum right there, backside, trying to cover around the tree, still trialing, still zooming.
What is
and
this?
Even sees some walkers. I mean, look at the truck play. It's just massive, so smart, utilizing that repair torch, and the team above of Maddie doesn't even notice it yet.
Maddie, of course, the other Maddie in this fight is here. And no! Gets a lot of lead underneath the feet right there. Walker says, give me those toes. And Maddie and Op now are just barely holding on. They don't pull, but they have so many options if they want to work their way down. Tfue gets an elim here on Rami's son of Carlos, and they're still doing well. And look, oh, comes the Nace and says, connect. No connections, but just a little bit of scare. And that does scare Maddie and Opt out of their position.
That's exactly what you need to do here for Tfue and Zemi. They've set themselves up.
Oh, they want the
basically knock down. Yup, they want it. They want it all. But shockwaves come through, taken to the skies. Op tries to get back in right in front of Tfue and Zemi. He looks straight down the barrel and instantly panicked, tossed that rift up. He was like, I'm not going down like that. As Maddie, his teammate, now completely down. And now they gotta try and clutch up out of the skies. Tfue and Zemi are absolutely fragging out. They pick up another elimination in the feed, and it's free pick'ems for them right now.
Literally sap games here, holding on to the sapling here. Swearing's right now getting a knock here, but it is Tfue and Zemi. Swearing gets a knock on Tfue, but Zemi now is gonna have to do this alone. Zemi's in shambles, picks up Swearing there, but it is Walkers in the big monster truck. This may be enough here, Lash, to win it.
It might just be enough here. He's got the shockwaves, but the repair torch still holding on to whatever he's got left in this truck. As now you have Rami officially going down there. C-Bum still lurking on that left side. Zemi still alive, though, right in the front side. C-Bum trying to take that angled peek as Walkers and Carlos fighting it out for the truck. It's all the duel here. C-Bum's trying to hold it down. Walker's coming in with a big truck plays, but C-Bum still able to hold on to that ground. Big damage being dealt. The truck is now completely out. Carlos taken down. The classic 1v1 now unfolding. C-Bum has a huge advantage right now. Walkers tries to keep the dream alive, but C-Bum is right there alongside to take home a 5 elimination victory royale.
No doubt Swearing has to be happy. Swearing and C-Bum get game 1 of the $20,000 Nikkei 30 Invitational. Wow, lads. Talk about it. Let's take a look at some of the action and replays throughout it. And it was during these rotations that we saw so many people just go at it and fight it all out.
Yeah, absolutely huge in these rotations. We truly saw that come into fruition there. And even aggression really coming into play. You see that being highlighted right here. Tfue and Zemi made it into those final moments. Didn't quite come away with it, but it was the lead up that brought them there up to that point. And even here to take out teams like Nate Hill in those moments. It was just insane seeing that rise.
No doubt, a lot of elims and placement points will be a factor. We'll take a look at the leaderboards. But C-Bum, with just one stair to hold on to, takes out the big truck as well, gets the fire as well to back him up. And wow, if anything could be an indication of what game 1 was, the rest of the day is just going to be crazy and exciting, Lash.
Big time facts. But we got to fester up those leaderboards, fester up what these players, and gather them all together because game number 2 is around the corner. But first, we got to take a quick break here, and we'll be right back. Grab some water, and make sure you sit tight because it's going to be real good. See you then.
I'm on my own, broken alone. I feel the rain crashing down all around this empty town. We're searching for the lost and found, but you don't care.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Nick A30 Invitational here on Boom TV featuring Fortnite. If you missed game one, boy, you already missed a great show. But hey, Lash, we still got 4 more games to go. Of course, C-Bum and Swearing were able to get the dub there. But wow, man, I love today's action already.
I'm absolutely in love with it as well. We saw a lot of amazing plays, but a lot of kind of critical plays that led to the downfill and uprise for a lot of these players. We kind of talked about it as well before. Like, this is massive for so many of these teams. If you don't have the rotations down, moving in, you end up being in that position just like that front side of Prospering. You end up just pretty much getting caught between a rock and a hard place.
And of course, Tifu and Zemi racked up so many elims. We're going to get the leaderboard essentially together as fast as possible. So don't worry, folks. So we're going to definitely get it after maybe the next game or so. But we'll fill you in. No doubt, C-Bum and Swearing have to feel good here. But that's what we have here. Of course, I am Sancho West alongside with Caster Lash. And we're just getting prime and ready for game 2. And we've seen chat here is having a good time hanging out here. And of course, the leaderboards, you can check a look at the leaderboards as they're getting updated on Boom TV's website. If you're in the chat, hit exclamation leaderboard. But this is the replay package. And what's one of the things that we have to take away with this, folks? If you're out there trying to figure out, will my team do best? I gotta say, chat, it's all about rotations. In zero builds, you gotta have clean rotations. As you can see, every rotations from zone 1 to 2 to 2 to 3, those are the ones that people are following the most. And those are the ones that, what I enjoy about zero build is sometimes you just have to fight. And we're seeing people take unnecessary fights, and it's ended up costing them now, Lash.
Very true, and especially around that Storm Surge. We saw that come into play a lot there in the early game. Not necessarily after that third zone Storm Surge kind of dwindled off. We kind of saw that kind of come to a resting stop. But in that very beginning, lots of players were like, all right, yo, we haven't necessarily experienced this quite yet. And especially in this zero build mode, you got some new teams, you got some more experienced teams. And especially if you haven't necessarily experienced that Storm Surge level of caliber, it gets rough for you and you start to lose your traction, essentially.
I would say the experience of Swearing, who was able to win along with C-Bum. Swearing has been putting a lot of work when it comes to the zero builds. He's been doing really well lately, doing the zero cash cups as well. Those are the kind of experience that Swearing has been building upon. I remember early on in the Twitch Rivals, he was literally hiding out in a tree, and that's what he would do. But I told him, bro, it's like, just because you hide out in a tree one tournament doesn't mean you're going to be that way. You're a good player. And it shows out that Swearing is a good player, and he was able to take away game 1. But let's see if, because consistency is a key. And I think what's the most interesting thing that I noticed, Lash, is that Zemi and Tifu made a very strong weak side rotate coming from the south side of Chonkers, if that's where they're landing, going all the way up to the north side and then pinching Nick A30 and Moo. Once they made that rotate, you're just seeing that they're very, very capable of moving no matter where the zone goes, Lash.
Very true. We've seen that a lot from throughout all of Tifu's career. He did that a lot during World Cup, did that a lot in Chapter 2 Season 2 when doing with Scoped, and now we're seeing that pretty much come over again here. But now we get to see where that necessarily got him up there on that leaderboards here as we take a look who is up at the top. And Team Zemi, Team Swearing, real close together.
And Cease as well. We saw Cease pick up a lot of E-limbs there. Jaith was very active in-game opt alongside with Maddie, doing some great work. Of course, Alex Rami and his son were there in the in-game. Prospering, we saw just in a bad position, had the low ground, and Larson and Coop and Easiness are rounding out the top 10. Again, chat, top 8 are the ones that are going to get paid here, and that's the threshold. But look, you're just seeing the monster game of Zemi and Tifu putting together, and even though they didn't get the dub, they still did enough when it came to elims to be able to squeak out the lead so far. But if you're feeling those Swearing fans out there, you got to be happy about that finish.
Very true. I mean, I talked to Swearing a little bit and Sticks before today's entire gameplay of tournament, and I don't know. They were feeling confident. They didn't necessarily know their drop spot necessarily before until like 30 minutes, and then they kind of ran into it. I was like, okay, Sticks Swearing absolutely dominating in that second place spot, and I'm really pumped to see them take away that game number 1 because it truly shows, like, even if you're not necessarily the most confident heading in. As soon as you get that reels and feels of game number 1, oh, they were ready to take over because they knew they had that experience.
And their work is not over yet. Like the great Monster D-Face says, you got to put together about 2 great games in the tournament to be able to finish in the money. Top 8 gets the prizing, and the lion's share is going to be a good stack of change here. And we're getting ready for game 2, Chad. Of course, thank you so much for joining us here on Boom TV. This is the hub for all the action. And hey, not only Boom TV does great things with Fortnite, but other games as well. So be sure to lock it in and drop a follow. And man, turn on those notifications. Maybe pin the channel. You don't know about that, Lash? You know that you could pin Twitch channels now?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. You could put me in the top 3. Anyway, chat, we're getting ready for game 2. Lash, we were talking about it during the break. Like, what is it that these teams that a lot of favorites fell early are going to have to do to change their luck? I mean, we talked about Nick Merckx, Aiden. They had that really tough rotation. They kind of took too much. They went south, and I was like, don't go south. They don't have the power to do that. And they went down there, and they got chewed up and spit out quickly. So what are the other teams that a lot of the favorites have to do to adjustments-wise game 2?
Adjustments wise, game 2, I'm gonna kind of stick to my main prediction of Bravo and Somerset right now. We kind of mentioned it very early when we mentioned drop spot of the Sanctuary. If they pull that zone, that's where they get a little bit too comfortable up there towards the hill ridges of above of the Sanctuary, and then we kind of see that come into play. Like, all right, they got closer to zone, they got a little bit too comfortable, they had to hit then the rotates, and going from comfortable to uncomfortable instantly, and it honestly came to their downfall. So I think to fix that a little bit, try and go for cars a little bit, because when they have a car, they're keen and ready for those rotates.
Oh, you know, ciao. Life is a highway. I'm taking a look at chat here. They want to know, what's the scoring system? I got you. Basically, first place is going to net you 33 points at Victory Royale, and then the threshold kind of stays on tact until the top 5. And then when it goes down to 5 to 10, it's like a 1-point drop off. But basically, placement starts top 25, like typical tournaments. Top 25, you start racking those placement points. But the huge difference is the elim points are 2, and that was a factor for Zemi. So let's go. Zemi's team with alongside Tifu leading the way. We are on board here for game 2. Let's go, Lash.
Let's hop right into that battle bus. It's hype, it's ready to go. Game 2 here, folks, and instantly we see the same exact story that we saw drop pattern wise over Tilted Towers. Every single one of those players is like, all right, time to get out of this battle bus. We know exactly where we're going towards. And here, battle bus is ended, and now these players have got the path to victory already in their sights.
And you're seeing the difference as well. Last time we had about, I felt like 4 to 5 teams landing in Tilted Towers. I don't think anybody is going to try to contest Aiden and Nick Merckx, who walked away with 3 elims there. Once again, that's the rotate. That will be the factor here, as we're going to get a nice fly over the island as everyone's dropping in. Of course, Nick A30 taking the north side split here, doing his best. But like I mentioned, I was not expecting that kind of, that weak side rotate. Looks like Nick A30 you moved, deciding to grapple early. Get the Logjam Lotus as well. And hey, we didn't mention this. Logjam Lotus will change after everything. And Hippie Habitat gets an explosive knock on Bonsai Bros. But Nate Hill and Impen, they were doing a lot of damage in those early rotations before mid-game there, Lash.
It seemed to be a little bit of a hindrance. We saw their truck kind of go into play as a downside. Instantly, great upside. Like we said, we saw that aggression start to come very positively into play. But then at a certain point, you start to become like a rubber band, and if you stretch way too far out of that zone, you snap instantly. So for Nate Hill and Npen, they're gonna need to patch that up a little bit. Maybe grab some extra timeage, because, reel it back a little bit, because we know once they get an endgame, they're gonna be a force to be reckoned with.
Now we're here. We see some elims happening in the feed. Greatly Bella alongside with Pam still picking up some elims on that northeast side of the map. Already colliding with some people over there. We'll go to a little bit more tranquil thing of Ben's and Easiness, who kind of took a little bit of part of Kurt Benkert alongside with Body Bag Dad. And now we're going into the heart of Rave Cave with Kawanti and Day. We saw a little bit as well in the first game, but it was Cease and his duo mate, who are in the top 5, did a lot of damage of waiting in buildings and waiting for teams who are in shambles rotate through. But we all know the power of Day And if Day gets the job done, as you see, Bonsai Bros picks up the rest of Body Bag Dad, and Kurt Benkirk gets taken out. So we leave the fireworks in the north. It was all tranquil there for a minute there last, but all of a sudden the explosions happen. As soon as the camera goes away, it happens.
Bada bing, bada pow. It's like a fireworks on the 4th of July, and they were just ready to light them off. They were like, we ain't got the patience for the crowd no more. We gotta do our own thing. We gotta go out here vibing. But Day and Quanti here, they're ready to take some shots as well, utilizing that new charged SMG. Not necessarily quite yet, but Chicken and Bewitching falling onto a very steady, unfortunate ground right now, as Chicken has to decide to back out into the taxi cab and absolutely get out of here. And that's a story for a lot of these players already very early off spawn, as it's big trouble a brewing.
We're seeing the first time the Boogie Bomb make an appearance here in today's games. The Boogie Bomb being unvaulted and being used in 0 bills. The Boogie Bomb goes out. Verse 2K gets a little bit of breathing room with a song and a dance. It was not enough to stop the push of Coop and Nounzy, who now have to take their attention to the third parties. Wow. Nounzy with the hammer coming down, nailing a couple of shots across the way, discouraged that third party push. And Coop and Nounzy, last time Versa and Reverse 2K were able to walk away scot-free. Not today. Nounzy and Coop take that out.
They were ready for the battle, and they were like, all right, this is our drop spot to hold down. Hey, Reverse, take a seat, my friend. You're going to have to come back again next game, as now they're able to come back up on top. But now we see the Tilted Towers kind of come into play, as not exactly as many teams as we saw last game, but now there's still quite a battle between Opt, Maddie, Nick Mercs, Aiden. Who's going to be able to win the fight? You also have plenty of teams still lurking on that other side of rotation as well. So this fight just constantly going at a stalemate, if you will.
It's definitely a stalemate. I mean, we've seen so many stalemates throughout the Tilted Towers careers of Aiden and Nick Mercs. They are going to be really patient here, but as you mentioned, as patience goes on and on, other teams loom by. Take a look at the minimap. Another purple team here breaking to rotate through. And you're taking a look at the zone. It's going to be more of a southern central zone. Not a lot of mountains, but there is a couple of mountain range on the south side of Tilted Towers that will be a factor here as well. And Pamsto is lining up the feet. So many elims already for Pamsto and Girly Bella. So we'll definitely keep an eye on that, as Nick Brooks and Aiden are now crossing into no man's land. As we go to Headshot Chicken TK, who had a pretty nice showing. He got a couple of elims there in the previous game and finishing at least in the top 10 there, Lash.
Definitely for Headshot Chick and TK, they've done a terrific job already in game number 1. Now it's game 2, your second chance out of 5 to kind of rebel up and make improvements, you know, live by the standard of we're going to go day by day, game by game, constantly improving, and not necessarily a constant up and down, constant just hills and valleys around the area. But for Sap Games, they fall into some big trouble, into the trap of the shuffled shrines.
Yeah, not only the big boulders there from Indiana, some big lead, and Clutch Shot is there to clean that up quickly. So Clutch Shot, who went down early, as you mentioned, game 2 could be a different story. Nick A30 and Moo are looking to change their fate, as last time they went down to Zemi and Tifu. But this is the thing about scavenger routes, Lash, that I got to point out here. You're just picking up scraps. This is what we saw Day and Quanti, where I saw Cease's team kind of roll through here as well. So for Nick A30 to Moo to do anything, they got to make sure that those scraps are good. They got to make sure that those leftovers are still tasty, my friend. And so far, they're paying the price.
You gotta make sure all those leftovers start to get in the goods, because once they get rotten, you start to fly in that same exact position that Nick A30 and Moo there on the bottom left half of your screen right now, folks, have fallen into. They've essentially been pushed out of the position once again in the same kind of story. It feels like a mirror right now, and it's looking back and forth like, all right, Nick, Moo, can you change that fate? I don't even know if they can. Like, they're so far back in the storm, it's going to be a struggle to get in, because those teams up there on top of the mountain, they're going to be quite steady on that top hill.
Now we're taking a look of that change of fate that you're talking about. Nick Mercs and Aiden went down at this portion of the game. They don't have any E-limbs, but now they're going to more into zone quickly rather than going to the outside of the zone, as Replays picks up a couple of E-limbs on the outside of the zone here. Demi's team goes down in the hands of Replays and Thieves, who we did see on the north side. They were making a rotate, and they went down early. And now we're talking about some people already putting up some early bases here at Tifu and Zemi here on this monster structure here on that point. They're going to have a lot of sight lines and be a nuisance to a lot of people rotating in.
Gotta be that kind of wrench in the rim right now, and that's exactly what Rody and Sizz are right now, heading into the push of Cease and Walkers right there. They completely blow up their truck here on this rotate. So now Cease and Walkers like, come on, man. Like, what was that for? What was the shots for? You didn't do anything but hurt us, but a big benefit for Rody and co there to now just continue to truck along because their truck stayed safe, and they were like, all right, we see you, Walkers. We see you, Cease. It's time for us to capitalize on you, send you into a shambles position so that way we don't have to worry about you come time endgame.
Seeing the big, heavy sniper shot as well, being a big factor against vehicles, slowing that kind of run right there of Cease and Walkers. They have to abandon ship, essentially. So that's why we're going to see the heavy sniper be a big factor, not only against vehicles, but against cow catchers. We saw an in-game as Zemi picks up Narwhal. Another big name in the scene gets taken down by the gun of Zemi, who's just been beaming everybody, no doubt, on that kind of, we already saw that monstrous fort that they had kind of selected here. Nick A30 and Moo, they used the rifts, and now they're here on the weak side here. Greasy Grove, gotta watch out here. Like I mentioned, they only got scraps to work with.
Full on scraps. Nick A30 now pushing in the battle. They've already gotten the knock onto Mega. They go straight up. Nick A30 making some big time plays against Voil, down to 5 HP, but a tremendous clutch there from Nick. And now they're going to be able to live the fruits of those eliminations, taking out the Portafort. Now they have the best position, best loot. They're absolutely vibing.
Leftovers turn into fruits of the spoil there, so to speak. But that is just going to be what they need, that ruthless aggression. You said it right there, Lash. I think the one thing as well that really helps them is when you get that knock, that's going to be that ultimate green light. So if you're going to play in these competitive tournaments, if you're going to play in the Zero Cash Cups, folks, you have to utilize quick heals. We saw Punisher fishing. These quick heals is not going to be needed as the ambush happens. Nick Mercs and Aiden take a spit stop there, and all of a sudden it is, no doubt that has to be Nate Hill. Yes, it is. Nate Hill just causes so much destruction on top of the movie screen, and that ride is over for Nick Mercs and Rody Bros. And Sizz Lucky now rotated into Chonkers, now causing Jiren a world of hurt.
Boy, is this carnival getting fun right now. So many rides all happening at once, and at some point, you are gonna have to get off that ride, and Type Shots is out of here. He's like, all right, Jarian, you've been taken out. It's time for me to dip. Sizz and Rody are not letting off the pedal right now, so we're just gonna be able to hop right into that whiplash, get out of here, and just hit chonk, chonk, I'm gone. You are not seeing me again right now. But for Sizz and Rody, they put themselves in a good position, as well as Aiden, even without Nick Mercs right now. He's got to find himself maybe a reboot, but he's got the reboot card right now. And the team that you mentioned earlier in the pre-show that you like to see from the chemistry-wise is now down and out for one, but the knock is still there. He can still pick up that revive.
I like a good story, and we're talking about people that are, committed to each other to get married, and the wolf comes in. The third party of the wolf says, I have a problem. I have a problem with this marriage. I would like to speak up. I cannot hold my peace. As Hippie cleans up Sparkles, and now Infy's going to have to go solo as well. As Hippie Habitat and Larson are now parading around, looking for some elims as Ranger picks up, acting like Tommy, the oldest pro in Fortnite history, is out of this game too. But I like this setup right now. Hey, man, we're in the desert here. You know what, Lash? Not a lot of bushes to work with, not a lot of places to hide. You're going to have to bring your places of security, like cowcatchers, like portaforts, because if not, you're going to be a world of pain.
You gotta bring your big brain plays out into the table, and Nick A30 and Moo are instantly bringing that out. Punisher goes for the shockwave play, but somehow evades that damage right now, as now Nick is caught up in the back. They utilize that Portafort so smart right there, utilizing
just
it defensively to get away.
It's out of zone.
Indeed, they're just kind of stuck out here. Landjock's trying to get those shots, as now they've caught Moo all of a sudden, along with Nick A30, in a very tough position.
Nick A30 had to basically squid ink that Portafort just to keep him on his feet there. They're going to have to work quickly, considering this is going to be a 2-tick, and they could get this elim. He accidentally fat fingers that shot the splash on accident here. The Landjock's now going to be pushed out of that bush. Colazo picks up the knock on Bonsai Bros, but they're going to have to work quickly. Yes, they take out Landjock. They're going to go ahead and go into zone, but now on the low side of zone, but This is not good. They already ate into their chug splashes, and time is but a factor here as Storm is causing so much damage, and now they have a lot of eyes of the lobby here on them.
All on the eyes of Nick A30.
That's a good spot.
Out here. Great spot. Definitely found themselves around the left side of the ridge here, so they're going to be able to stay out of the sight line. So here, they need to stick pretty much on this ocean side if they want to survive here. Meanwhile, the elimination feed continues to go out. Quanti and Day are looking to light it up.
They're not going to let them.
Even more here. They're taking the top hill. Nick and Moo got to be careful. Quanti and Day, the most aggressive pros in the lobby right now as shockwaves come
nice
through.
Shock,
Knocks
Nick.
out, though, and a beautiful shockwave play comes in. They've thrown the wheel out into the spinner, and now Nick 830 has to find the battle, but down he goes, absolutely knocked, and now Moo is left to his own resources.
Day was able to recover from that great shock play from Nick 830, and it was just not enough. But Aiden is like, yo, dog, we're going to ride together. It brings back Nick Mercs deep into Storm here as Clutch Shot. Now back into game 2. Went down early in game 1. Is making a ruckus here alongside with Ruffles the cat. Day and Kawanti after picking up Nick 830. I think is Moo still alive? Yes, he is. He's barely alive on outside of Storm, but Nick 830 did this as much as he can do with that hand that he was dealt.
I don't think Quanti and Day saw him, at least not yet. So Moo kind of just staying shifty around that left side of the bush, just trying to stay careful around here. But even Tifu and Zemi are out here just kind of vibing. Meanwhile, Prospering down in the elimination feed, Aiden as well. So Nick Mercs as a solo now left to clutch up on his own out here in the wild lobby up here at the top. And now Zemi and Tifu, I think they're preparing for a big time Elim Fest.
Taking a look at the zone, there's going to be a lot of places where people are going to have to kind of go right up against as Moon finally gets cleaned up by Day and Quanti. If you're going to look for the people that are great position shot, it's people that are using the natural terrain, the thing that is unbreakable, the plateaus, the mesas. If they're kind of pinned up against that, they're going to have a good chance here because that is what we have here. We all of a sudden went to some high elevations points here of some big plateaus and mesas, and Nick 830, Moo went down on the outside. Tifu and Zemi, you're using Porta Forts to set themselves up nicely, but Nick Mercs is going to have to pull out a rabbit out of his hat, and I think he may be out of magic here because there's a lot of obstacles in his way.
Hey, but like a magician, he never lets up his tricks, as maybe he's got another trick up their sleeve. But I can tell you one thing for sure, Day and Quanti definitely have that trick up their sleeve, that little bit of extra magic in their feed, but never mind. The magic has worn off. It's ticked past midnight, and Nick Mercs and Aiden are now down, and now it's left, all right, new dogs, Quanti and Day, come on, rise to the top.
Already rising with 2 elims, looking really good, but the rotation is going to look pretty tough. A lot of cover that the land at the cover here. Swearing and Sebo, the winners of game 1 here, utilizing the truck here. It's very low as Clutch Shot picks up another elim in the feed. Clutch Shot activates, and it looks like we're going to have a brawl, folks, inside of this building structure here. There's a river on the south side with the impenetrable bridge as well, so expect some people to be under the bridge as Kawante picks up Swearing, and Seabum, I think he blew up that truck there, Lash.
Just said, all right, it's time for you boys to go. Game number 1 was your only spotlight, and now it's time for us to take that spotlight. But Hippie and Larson in a bit of a struggle right now as Hippie has to find his shockwaves, get out of there on 14 HP, still left alive here in this battle. It's as a Bruin. Somerset picks up the knock onto Alex in the elimination feed. Meanwhile, Day and Quanti here, 4 eliminations, done a terrific job so far all day long, and are now just building upon that story as they have a great side of zone to push in right now, and they're even lurking up onto more players in front of them. It's looking mighty fine for them.
This is a nasty heading for Kawanti, but the angles there from D-Wolves and the duo mate are just causing a little bit of a problem here, but this is a great use of that natural terrain here because that safe zone, Lash, there's no bushes. There's only a couple of teams on the south side there. They're holding down those bushes. Everywhere else you can't hide. That building is just in shambles right now. There's a couple of plateaus and messes that if you could get on top of with cow catchers, you're putting yourself in a great position. But right now we're taking a look at D-Wolves here, who is looking down at Day and Kawanti, who do have 1 Porta Fort left. Noah W plays and Ranger are sitting in the only bushes that are available in the rest of the zone, and they are putting some great work into it, but they got a lot of attention their way. There is a couple of risks this way, but they have been used here, and Casker and Smacked, they get pushed from the backside, but down goes Casker. Ranger and Noah W, no shield, nothing left, full send. after Casker and Smack, and no, the return, no, my goodness, Rody Bros comes in from the backside, and Sis Lucky, we were waiting, and all of a sudden they snatched up a couple of elims here.
They don't notice him. They don't notice Noah just chilling in the truck right now. Rody and Co are just going to dip right back up to the Portafer, acting as if life's all good, but no. Noah's just chilling right there, and Day and Quanti have found themselves in a good position off that Portafer. Do Rody and Sizz even notice them down there? No, not quite yet. However, Rody picks up another elim onto Smack in the feed, and now it's ultimate chaos just unfolding here. Fifth Zone reveals himself. Noah is out of here. He's got to get in the truck, and he's down. The lobby saw him. They were like, yeah, my friend, unfortunately, this is over for you. But Cease and Walker's looking to recover this truck, and now this is huge rotation coming into Zone 5.
Yeah, I liked it, what you said there, that rotation there. Not a lot of people are in it. They're all in the building. It looks like a little bit of a destruction derby here. A couple of semi-trucks are trying to stay alive here as Day takes out Nate Hill. Somerset knocks Clutch Shot. Somerset has been lighting up the feed. Must have a strong position. Cleans up Clutch Shot and Ruthless. So that team has been making some noise here in game 2. Ball to the hands of Somerset, but Atifu and Zemi are still going. Zemi and Somerset are now here. Hippie Habitat colliding with Somerset. Somerset literally with 12 taking so much damage. Cannot withstand the power of Zemi and Tifu, who are now kind of just squishing this entire thing. And look at that. Zemi here lands the feed, but look at that. In a flash, it goes south quickly for Tifu and Zemi, and Tifu's going to have to go alone.
Tifu's got a hiccup in this clutch right now, but he has mats. He has loot right there. However, the cars are rolling around, throwing so much into their way, and it's so much chaos unfolding. Sizz and Rody have taken over the top heights, but Shockwave's connected. Sizz is out in the backside, but a Shockwave to retrieve it right back up to the top, with Tifu and Zemi now down here. A team in first heading into this game is now down, while Sizz and Rody are trying to take over. Shockwaves retrieve back up once again, and Sizz has put himself in a terrific position right now.
So many shockwaves are going back and forth, left and right. People are flying through the air, getting bowed to the storm. Sis Lucky must be one of those clowns that keeps coming back and forth. He is not going down. He's right back into this fight. And Rody and Sis Lucky in a great position here as we cross into the top 5. They got people in the sky, so you gotta watch out as someone's gonna fly on in. And oh my, they get deleted. Day goes bye-bye quickly.
Absolutely gone. Quanti and Day out of the race. Cease tries to take up to the skies. 40 HP and absolutely destroyed out there, out of the skies. And this is the terrible position for so many of these players right now. Just caught into the midst of Sizz, Lucky, and Rody. But you gotta dance it up, boys. Rody and Sizz gotta hit the boogie around here. Type Shots tries to throw that boogie right back in, but no, absolutely denied. Walkers takes off to the sky as well. So now it's final sprays, practically aim training right now for Sizz and Rody, with the final 2 players right in front of their eyes. Walkers gets the Titan sighted onto him, and now it's all down. The 2v2, Pam Stow and Bella versus Sizz and Rody.
Whoa, biggest shockwaves. Everyone goes back into Storm. Girly Bella now is going to have to be by herself because the Pam Stow gets a knock with Sizz Lucky. It's a 1v1, a 2v2, the 1v1. The shockwave, and it's out. Sizz Lucky with holy 13 eliminations in the Victory Royale. That's going to be a monster game finish for game 2, Lash.
An absolutely insane game there to finish out for Rody and Sizz. 14 elims. Once they took the high ground, it was all over. But leading into that lead up, that's where we see, all right, these players are developing their strategies. Portafort and aggression, that's all you need.
We're seeing a couple of teams as well, a couple of favorites finding their footing here in game 2, making sure that they're getting things together. We see Nikkei 30 make it a little bit further. We still see Zemi and Tifu in the top. We saw Maddie as well in the finish, but this is what we're talking about here in the Nikkei 30 Invitational. 0 builds is a lot of action here, and hey, Clutch Shot and Ruthless, they got a lot of elims, and they maybe, no doubt, put themselves higher and higher on that board. Again, folks, top 8 get paid out.
Gotta get that pay, and you know these players are gonna do anything that they can get to. But Zemi and Tifu threw in that wrench to the field. They unfortunately went down there, getting caught up into the ridge. However, this is where all chaos broke loose here. In those final moments, they left it out to the shockwaves, a back and forth. Sizz was able and able to capitalize in those final moments, taking them out to Storm with a dominant run in Game 2.
I need to buy a lot of shockwaves because that's what basically you need. Like, there was like shockwaves left and right, explosions going back. I see chat right there, they're just reacting to what went down. I don't think boogie bombs were a factor. I mean, maybe we're not catching it in the broadcast, but we saw Rody and Sizlucky get hit with a boogie bomb, and they were able to survive the boogie bomb considering that they had it. And I kind of called it, didn't I, Lash? I said, whoever is sitting on height with cow catchers will be able to survive, and they did. They had 2 cow catchers that sat on top of the plateau, but Lash, that's game 2, game 1 in the books. Game 3 right around the corner. We're going to take a quick break and bring you more action here at Nick 830's Invitational featuring Fortnite.
Just like a
Welcome back, y'all, to the fun action here at Boom TV here for the Nick 830 Invitational featuring Fortnite. And game 2 just wrapped up. I'm Sancho West with Catcher Lash, and we got a big congrats here to the game 2 winner of the team of Rody Bros and Sizlucky. Rody, come on, man. You can't be good at video games and good looking. This man has a jawline for Batman. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's ready to take over the modeling game and the Fortnite competitive game. This man is just good at everything, and must I say, quite a fantastic game number 2 there from Rody and Sizlucky there. They just absolutely took over no matter what the circumstances was, no matter whether you're dancing around with shockwaves, no matter whether you're dancing around with cow catchers going around all the top tier competitors. They were just like, you know what? We're going to stick down, firm foundation, 14 elims, easy peasy.
Wow. Those elims are huge considering every elim is 2 points, and no doubt when we have the leaderboard ready, folks, they're going to be in the money, and that is what is going into game 3. But there's a couple things that we've been trying to, and not only educate you about 0 builds in the competitive set lobby, but also teach you like what's going down with these teams. And we're seeing that right now, these rotations are a factor, and at the same time, you could do great off spawn, but if you can't rotate out of off spawn, you're not going to do well. So hey, let's take a look at the standings, right? We got that ready to go, I believe. Yes, let's see. Here it is. Cease's team kind of sits on top with a great performance here, back-to-back. Zemi holds on true, but look at that. Rody Bros with that great performance Lash kind of catapults them then to the top 3.
Just a rise to the top, and ultimately, they did super well there. And having that extra boost, if you will, of 14 elims there to bring them up a plus 24-point gap, as well as the 33 points that bring you with that victory royale. So catching up there to Zemi and Cease is massive for every single one of these teams, and top 8 being that gap, that bridging line between the money and not money. That's the argument a lot of these teams are kind of battling back and forth between right now.
Oh, absolutely, and shout out to Girly Bella, who is a veteran of the 0 builds in the EU scene, does so well, understands she's a great IGL, a great person who understands rotates. She, understands where's a great place to stay avoid in the elevation. All that is coming true to fruition right now, alongside with Pam. So they're doing really well coming out of the northeast side. They racked up so many elims, and they were factoring in game again. Maddie rounding out to top 5 alongside with Alex Ramy and Hippie Habitat. We saw doing that, and of course Swearing coming in in the 8th place that you mentioned after winning game 1. So going back to what story that we have here is that are developing the storylines. Lash, we talked about what the favorites have to do. A lot of the favorites kind of found their footing in game 2 here.
Absolutely found their round and ground, and they've been continuing to, I don't know, I guess plant their seed right now. Now it's growing mighty tall right now because they're able to kind of go back to what they know. They're able to go back to their pacing here in 0 build, and they're like, all right, we've been here before. We know how to rock and roll, and now it's just hey, it's all a pre-show going back, but now we get to see how these teams kind of fruition that here in game number 3 as we jump right in off that battle bus.
Battle bus going north to south here, folks. Let's see. We're going to have the people like Nick A30 kind of land early. We're going to see other teams like Jaren's Duo land early as well. But Tfue and Zemi are going to have to wait on the bus here. But that does not mean Aiden and Nick Merckx aren't waiting that long here. See, if you're a fan of Aiden and Nick Merckx, the recipe to success, no matter Streamer Bowl, no matter where they are, is finding elims early, getting into that elim, getting that momentum quickly, because that pushes them up their leaderboard. And if they could get cooking, you watch out as Kurt Benkert takes out Bonsai Bros, and that team is gone. That's one of those fights that have been developing. But like I mentioned, Nick Merckx and Aiden, they need people to fight here. They need to get elims, but Maddie and Opt have not been easy outs, and they've been, frankly, making it to end games in these past 2 games.
It's been a tough out for Nick Merckx and Aiden, but so far, it's been pretty much a standoff every single time they've been going at it so far, and they need to get back to their game 1 grassroots, or otherwise they're going to start to see that slip a little bit more every single game, and to the point where they instantly go down off spawn, or they instantly make it to end game just based off of what they do in early game here. And Reverse 2K and Versa are utilizing a beautiful early game already.
Exchanging of the nades between the two. Porter Fort still stands tall. There is a wolf underneath here, but you're seeing the changes that are happening, and considering that there's only 5 games here, Lash, you're going to have to make changes quickly if things go south. Reverse 2K and Versa going down into Condo Canyon quickly, now changes course, now go all the way up north, and they're going to cause problems here for the northern teams here, as Lauren, they're not doing well. Julia and Lauren, we've seen them go down early, and they're having some issues trying to make their rotate out of spawn, but now we're back on board with Versa Reverse 2K. You're dealing with Duke of Nuke's duo mates. This is one of those teams. Spunky as well, plays a lot of games, a lot of scrim games with a lot of people in this lobby. Very familiar with that. Duke of Nukes as well. Everyone is almost friends with everybody in this lobby, Lash, so it's quite interesting to see how they're colliding here today.
Definitely, and especially that's the thing, when you see the drop map, you're like, oh, I'm landing next to the person that I've landed with in scrims. Oh boy, this ought to be interesting, because then you see a lot of forces all pretty much colliding into one, and they're like, oh, I know how to fight you, I know how you play, and then you know how I play, and then it's kind of just a back and forth, like, all right, who's actually going to be able to come back on top, or are we just kind of just out here in a moot point so far? And Sap Games and Jaith right now are kind of evading this territory of the battle right now for Reverse 2K and Co. out here in the burning forest, essentially, for the time being, but they hop right back in the truck, and they're out of here.
Every time you got another team that's landing in a new area, that's another opportunity to get a couple elims for the teams that have been finding success here in the split north of the Daily Bugle. Looks like Opt takes out Prospering. Prospering, one of those names that we're hoping to have a good standing here. Opt, we saw in that standoff with Nick Merckx and Aiden out there in Tilted Towers. Looks like takes out Prospering, who's out there in Loot Lake. So that's going to be something to keep an eye on to see, can Prospering recover, get rebooted. Moo and Nick A30 here have this entire POI. There's something about the Logjam Lotus that even in my own gameplay, people just dislike going to, and they basically have this for free. I don't think they were able to get the grapplers though, and that was a part of their success there, Lash.
Most definitely, you gotta have that rotation around here, and especially in these games where you need to find cover almost instantly. Somerset's trying to find that way around, but Somerset and Bravo came in to the wrong side of town here as Assault and Narwhal were just chilling there, waiting at the shuffled shrines, just ready to take the shots and dominate.
A new POI introduced here this season that has the theme of Indiana Jones. And hey, if you're a Fortnite player, what it basically has, it has a lot of great loot. It's definitely a power position, a power POI, and Op gets taken down by Aiden and Nick Merckx. And I have to see, yes, Maddie gets taken out, so the top 5 is going to be a factor. But like I mentioned, that could be the catalyst to kind of pull up Nick Merckx and Aiden into the fray, into the money, and that's all they need. They need these early fights, and let's see if they can figure out that eluding puzzle piece of the rotate as Carlos Ramy here picks up his dad here out at the Daily Bugle. We talked about new players being involved in the north side, and Lash, this is another one of those butterfly effects that's happening, affecting all the other teams.
Absolutely, and Sap trying to push the battle, sneak outside of the window. Sap trying to take the shots, but the shockwaves came through, and he is out of here. Couldn't quite pick up his dad of Alex, and now he's like, all right. Alex in the background, he's like, all right, son, it's time for you to clutch up. It's time for you to show your shining light upon the entire lobby as he dips back out of here. But now at the Daily Bugle, you got teams lurking around. Same thing, Carlos looking to clutch up, but Headshot Chick hits the headshots and takes out Carlos back to the lobby.
I'm very impressed by today's games of Headshot Chick. I've seen her streams. I've seen her, like I mentioned, play with Prospering. She grinds the zero build arena that was just recently introduced that won't be available for the summer. And, you know, I've seen her do so well, and to see her do well in a set lobby speaks volumes of the progress she made. Nick 30 and Moo kind of find themselves in a sticky situation in the rock, in a hard place here. They go from one duo to the other of Bonsai Bros holding down that mansion spot. They still have to work their way through, but the thing about zero builds, Lash, you cannot get the attention of multiple teams because that attention will draw you out and send you back into the lobby as Bonsai Bros with the aggressive plays sends Nick 30 scrambling for cover, and out goes Moo.
Out, down, and out for the count goes Moo. And now Nick, once again, off to the races. We saw this last game for Nick 30 and Moo Academy out here, and now they're just trying to essentially rebound and maybe not fall into that same falter, but like you said, you cannot stay still. You cannot fight one team without another saying, raising their eyebrow and like, ooh, we wanted some of that piece of the pie, but Nick 30 ends up going down and out for the count to the hands of Hippie Tabatat, and now this is such a rough point.
I know that Hippie Habitat has to have a smile on his face considering that Nick 30 and Hippie Habitat post constantly on socials of them taking out each other, and no doubt I will see that on socials from Hippie that he took out Nick 30. And now we see Clutchshot and Ruffless Cat here. Ruffless now is in a world of pain right now with no kind of green HP, and Clutchshot, who had a great game too, now on the other side of the coin that's not looking great for game 3, is going to have to make a rotate here. Now we're on board with Legion and Blah, and we saw Legion kind of do some damage in game 2.
Most definitely, and now they're just going to be out here chilling for the time being. Legion, I bet you he's feeling good right now. He's teaming up with the FNCS, actually reigning FNCS champion Abila, so I'm hoping to see them do well here today, and they've now got to pick up the pace here. This is already game number 3. This is the point of almost no return. Either you're making changes now and you're succeeding off of them, or you're staying still and you're staying in the same kind of place that you started in the first 2 games. And for Sizz and Rhodey, right now, I'm loving their positioning as far as points goes and positioning in the island goes, because they're gearing up, they're ready to stay constant in what they've built so far, and that's big-time elims and big-time wins.
Acting like Tommy goes down, trying to hug the cow catcher. Taruf is feeling the lead of Clutchshot and Roofless. They're just kind of full sending here. They have no options here. Out goes a flare. It's going to let them know that they are resting, acting like Tommy there. Nice shot of the heavy to sweep the floor. And that's going to be a big rip out there for Tarif just to get away from the action. Clutchshot goes for the immediate dive to see that he can just try to kind of clean the rest up of this fight here. But it looks like Tarif was able to get away. Another strong player in zero builds, working with acting like Tommy. But as you can see, when you rip, dude, you're pretty much almost a duck. Not sitting in water, but a duck that is about to be sent out quickly.
Big time facts, and with Tarif getting absolutely shredded out of the sky, that's going to be the end of their race here in game 3. And I'm liking this spot from Viola and Legion right now. Taking off of the foundation here. They're looking good. But Day and Quanti, a team we saw come out very successful in game number 2. Out here, hot and heavy in the action. They have Bonsai right below them. If they can get this finished, they're going to be able to live out these elims here. And I believe it is indeed a nice little chug cannon. But I think they're going to kind of dip back off of that. They're sticking to their strategies of what they built. And now bringing that here into game 3.
Zimmy and Tifu in the feed take TK and Headshot Chick. That's going to be an early elimination there for Headshot Chick's duo. No doubt that's going to be something that, you know, we try to see, give some spotlight to everybody here today. Day and Kawanti there, they're making their own noise, you know, and they're letting everybody know that we have a chance here. They're in the top 10, Lash, and I think if they could just kind of get into like a top 3 finish, that will put them in prime position again. This is game 3 of 5. As you see, let's see the top of the board, Swearing and C-Bomb. They started off hot, and now they're cooling off. And that's what we're going to see here. So many teams who started off hot are starting to cool off, and other teams who are slow risers are now making some noise, and now we're on board here. Can Sparkles and Infi make some noise here? As we've been waiting for them to do something in today's tournament.
Can't let your fire turn into ice cubes, but for these teams that have kind of started off as ice boulders, now looking to kind of turn up the heat a little bit. They don't want the AC on no longer. They don't want the freezer to be put in. Nah, they want to bring out the heat up in here and kind of heat up the island, because leaderboard's starting to shift right now. Big teams already down. Swearing and Sticks already out here in the battle, and now it's left for teams like Sizz and Rody. They're pretty much fighting a boulder that's just right in front of them. You just got to move that boulder, send it out of the way, because that boulder is not moving.
Seen in the feed, Nick Mercs going down to Larson, now getting confirmed by Larson here. Infi and Sparkles, who had a good hold in the temple. As you can see, Sparkles is now going to go solo. If she can kind of get the wares from Infi. Infi says, you're my better half, Sparkles. Go and survive. Typical gamer picks up Aiden. So that team of Aiden and Nick Mercs go down quickly here. And looks like it is more fireworks happening here. Bullets are being exchanged between port and forts right now. Tfue going up against Mega and Dubs. He's going to have to just go into that temple that we already saw. Sparkles is in there. And he may find Sparkles all by herself here. That's Mega and Voil. I'm so used to Mega and Dubs being together. Mega and Voil here working together, but they draw the attention of the rest of the lobby.
Full attention, all to theirs. Mega now down, left for Voil to try and essentially regain what has been lost. But with the hands of Tfue and Zemi right on top of you, they take in the heavy sniper, and up goes Voil off to the bounce of the tires. And out goes the Rift Go. He's just like, all right, Mega, I cannot save you out here. He's off. He's out of here. But now he's got to be careful. He's got to relive his own kind of left-off experiences out in the skies. And you cannot be up here for too long in zero build. There's no builds around you to maybe distract you from other players. Nah, you got to dive straight down if you want to survive.
Voil in big trouble. He's going to have to hold on to Shaq here. Colazo. Old school name in Fortnite. You could play whatever game you like, Colazo. You still have a home here in Fortnite. Wrong inside with the roller. A lot of experience between these two. With the prime shotgun and the roller can. Speaking of experience, we go to Landjock and Punisher. We haven't found a good experience in today's tournament, but they're hoping to turn that around quickly with a great finish here, because this zone is a lot of water here, Lash. And so you got to hope that you have a porta fort, because a porta fort in the water is going to be really good, because you cannot swim into the door. And you know how I found that out the hard way, bro? Someone threw a porta fort down, and I could not swim through the door. So watch out for that going into this end game.
Yeah, you gotta watch out for that. You gotta watch out for those shots as well. As Kurt Benkirk
what are you
did
doing
not
out
have
there,
a point
Kurt?
for it. He's
Come on,
just vibing,
Kurt.
you know?
He's out there. I know you moved to Florida, Kurt. I know you're out there vibing out with your wife and your kid. But hey, you gotta get out of the water, my friend. You gotta play.
He didn't come ready, you know, to fight against these pro players. He's like, all right, I'm gonna sit out here. I'm gonna vibe out in the sea. You know, get in some sunlight. That's what you gotta do. But for Jathan and Sap, they're just like, nah, we don't want sunlight. We want only bushes. And I respect the bush camping strategy, but I also respect these porta fort strategies. You know, keeping the pacing well and getting off that great position. And for Bila and Legion, they've put themselves in a top tier position. However, need to be worried about those teams behind you, because Reverse 2K, Versa, many players behind you also picking up out in as shockwaves are now out and fights are breaking loose.
They want to go in as Boyle gets finally taken out. Legion eats a face full of lead as he pushes through, and so much shield is gone and absolutely gets knocked out by Colazo. Blaya trying to go in. Bila gets a big wrench into the plans, and that may be reversible. Like I mentioned, 4-4 in the water gives a little breath of kind of solace here for Reverse, but Reverse is not a part of that little solace area here as Reverse does get a knock on Duke here. Could pick up a point, but Spunky's right there. But Versa now is literally in a bad spot. The rotate is going to have to be made, because it's going to go down and Sleepy Sound. And what my favorite thing about Zero Build Slash is we get in games in POIs and things are going to get spicy, my friend.
super, super spicy as Reverse 2K goes down in the elimination feed, as fights have absolutely gone to flames out there in the abyss. And that's what happens when you don't get the best positioning, especially right here, right now with Jaith and Sap. You can't get on top of those buildings, especially now if you don't have those cow catchers, and it truly has hurt them severely. With Sap down to the hands of Sizz, our game 2 winners are now up and ready. They're on the urge for more eliminations.
You talked about being hot. They're right now liquid hot magma. Alexa picks up an elim and an easiness. But yeah, Rody Bros and Sizz Lucky are looking really good. They're going to have to make the way. This is what their competitors have to work with in this end game. You literally have a body of water between two rows of structures here. As mentioned, as everybody could create their own structure with the port forward as Cascar and Smack, who've had some opportunities to be in in-game, just unable to cash in with elims. Can Cascar and Smack turn back the clock of time of the old FNCS days and make some noise here? We're talking about pre-FNCS days for Cascar and Smack. As we're now on board with Jaith as the solo here, he does have some great things in the inventory. Boogie Bombs, he has Shockwaves, he has Cow Catchers, but he does not have the firepower because he's going to have to go on solo, and he's just going to have to make himself unknown, just as well as Sparkles, who has been a solo for a while, and she's doing really well picking up placement points.
You can't be knocking around the pans around this island right now, especially if you're Trix and Alexa right now out here in the midst as battles are brewing right around you. Jaith going down to Sizz. They sought out the attention, picked up the elim onto him, and now Trix and Elixir kind of playing it patiently right now, waiting for that zone to reveal itself. However, with Zemi now in trouble right now as a solo, having to revive up Tfue. Notice how Tfue dropped those shockwaves. It's like, all right, if you can't get me, I need to make sure you can stay alive and get away. But they get that revive back up, and now they're going to be chilling once again.
Shield kick going down for Tfue. Give a second chance of life here, but that's not so for Trixiaga and Alexa as they use a shockwave and they put themselves in a bad position here. Zemi Tfue now holding down as much as they can here. Literally shockwave and the door closed and they get everybody out of the vicinity. That's 200 IQ play from Tfue and Zemi, and every opportunity they can stay on their feet will get them a little bit more placement points because this is a top 3 team. But no, the floor gets swept underneath them and the shots are coming from all over, and that is not enough. They cannot do anything, and down they go with 5 elims in the bank.
When one door opens, another one closes, and at that same point in line with Zemi and Tfue down, Day and Quanti were right there in the fight, brewing. Day down to 14 HP with Quanti completely out of the mess of battle. 5 eliminations for Day right now. He's looking absolutely beautiful, but the HP is not there. Having that chug cannon at any point in time can reveal the heals, but with the footsteps lurking around, Narwhal and Assault were right there to take big time damage. They're like, all right, Day, it's time for your run to end, as now they've taken down this low ground position. It's looking very good for them heading into this 5th zone.
From the low ground to the high, it is Rody and Sizz Lucky picking up so many elims. We saw Day with the classic play of taking on someone as if it's a tarp here, as Punisher gets taken out here as he was taking a dip inside that body of water. Narwhal Assault here may dive down, dive bomb on somebody who is sitting pretty in a porta fort. We got Peach's duo here sitting right here, maybe underneath the structure here in the water.
Oh no.
Door opens, the boogie happens. Peach and Boom are now dancing here, and Boost, I'm sorry, but no connections happen here for Shots and Jaren. They were uncomfortable here because look at this. There's so many eyes and so many guns looking everywhere as Rody and now Sizz Lucky here have people underneath their feet.
Underneath the feet, and now they gotta start tap dancing around them. 8 eliminations already, and they're looking to copy that same exact pace that they left off in game number 2, as they're just taking the wide scope, taking in this entire lobby. Like, all right, where is everyone? Where can we take these shots? Shockwave's now coming out once again, trying to look for those shots. But high in the sky goes many other players. They're trying to get those lasers, beams, but no, completely trapped back out into your other side. Colazo right there on the right side of your screen, though, back and forth, pattering along with those eliminations right now. So DeRoller and Colazo are looking to fight for that same exact line so far.
20 points for Colazo and DeRoller, and that is just the elims alone, and they're not done yet. They got someone in their sights in front of them. DeRoller picks up a knock on Peach and gets a confirmation. Another 2 points. Hippie Habitat flying to the sky. Rody Bros getting some nice tag with the lead on the backside of Hippie Habitat. It's going to send him into the arms of Narwhal and Assault. Out goes Shots here. Rody Bros gets sent out. Now he has to go back as this Lucky does get the knock here, but look at this. It's obscene. This structure is obscene, Lash. It's a porta fort on top of porta fort on top of porta fort on top of porta fort, my friend, as the roller takes out Says Lucky.
All the porta forts on around, but Collazo is like, I'm gonna go the all-natural way. Tries to take the shots upon that lower ground, but no, has to dip back inside the building. They know exactly what they do and what to do at this moment. DeRoller finds Jarian. We're looking right in the waters, and you can't be swimming now. It's not vacation time anymore, as now Jarian finds himself in the same position that Peach once did, and in the same exact story. They fall with DeRoller, though. 20 HP left remaining as well. Gets back up to 70 there. However, Rody Bros still out there in the zone, in the lobby. However, this is where big battles now are going to have to start getting very tension.
Wow, it's like SEAL Team 6 here, all aquatic. DeRoller gets knocked from Smack, and even though DeRoller put a big shot here, Collazo back into the corner here with only a gray shotgun is going to do it. And Casker and Smack get taken out. Rody gets taken out as well. Larson cleans all that up, and Collazo with the sneaky play here. No, almost picks up his partner, and in a flash, down goes DeRoller here. Narwhal Assault, are able to pick that up, or they were able to stop that here. But Larson, man, Larson's been cooking here today. Can he close out with the dessert play?
The dessert play up towards the high ground, and shockwaves come out just like they did last game. It's a who's who of what exactly can you do to survive out here. Outlast. Assault has taken high ground right now, leaving Narwhal to try and go back and forth. Larson goes up to the sky and straight out denied. Beamed. Another shockwave comes up from Collazo, but straight up destroyed out of the sky as Assault and Narwhal take home the game number 3 victory royale.
It all went down at Sleepy Sound, and it is the quite opposite of Sleepy. It's full awake here. Game 3 is in the books, but wow, what a clash of titans, of big names, old names, all coming down here, and wow. The Invitational still rolls, folks, but congratulations to the team winner there. But hey, I got to give a congratulations as well to Collazo and DeRoller. I mean, they were just obliterating anybody, like anyone out there. Look at that. You got Kurt Benkert out there, I don't know, swimming, ocean swimming, no matter what, gets eliminated out there. But some great showings there from some great teams.
Absolutely, especially DeRoller and Collazo, like you just mentioned there. They come back no matter what, and even for Collazo, he's like, no matter what game you put me in, I'm still out there for succession, hungry for it all. And you had so many positions for Sizz and Rody up there at the top of the leaderboards. They were just out there fragging like it was nobody's business in those moments. And even Day and Quanti fell in that position, as it was just an absolute insane battle that was just, all right, ready to the pacing, and it all led up to those final moments.
You're seeing what a POI in-game will look like. It's very intimate, it's nasty. There's everybody holding right-hand corners here, and as it looked like Collazo was just trying to do all that he can here, and Narwhal and Assault were able to hang out on the low ground, picking up the double-digit elims and the Victory Royale, so that's going to be like 50 points or something like that. I don't do well with math, but we have admins that do well. Chat, we're going to go ahead and take a break. We're going to be right back here with Game 4. Don't you miss out. Peace. Welcome back, y'all. This is Sancho West alongside Caster Lash here for the $20,000 Nikkei 30 Invitational featuring Fortnite. Game 4 is right around the corner. I could see it. It's like a parade float. I can literally see it. It's almost here, but we got to give a shout out to the winners of Game 3 of Narwhal and Assault here. Hey, and you kind of said, what was it a surprise? I mean, they were in a very tough spot. They were literally treading water, and they were able to survive and get the dub, Lash.
It was all about taking that high ground in that final moments, and that's where we see Portafort on top of Portafort on top of Portafort, and Portafort all over again, and it was just all over the place. And then Assault and Narwhal were just that constant foundation in the fold, and they were just like, all right, easy dubs, we'll take home that VR, thank you very much, and hopefully that can be their rise up to the top in that leaderboards.
Yeah, that leaderboard, which we're cooking right now. The thing about it is, oh, there it is. It's ready. We're hot and ready, y'all. Here it goes. Roadie Bros with a back-to-back great Game 2 and Game 3 are on top with 101 points. Zemi is right there with 93 points. Cease's team with 92. Hippie Habitat still making some noise. I think Hippie's doing it with a lot of elims there, Lash. 86 points. Assault with that Virtua Royale and that double elim game gets to 75 points. Day moving up the leaderboard. Girly Bella kind of slipped a little bit. Colosso, that has to be my surprise, bro. Colosso alongside with DeRoller, not only they were there in-game, but they had a great mid-game strategy of taking out a lot of teams up in the north area.
Most definitely, and that was the big uprising, I would say, for them, because they were able to get that aggression early into the battle, and then they were feeling confident heading into that endgame. And really, all that you need is confidence and patience. You know, sometimes you can get a little bit overconfident, then you lose patience. But at that time, Colosso and DeRoller had almost the perfect recipe, coming away there in second place there in game number 3. So a big rise up in the top 8 here, heading up into game number 4. So, I mean, they're looking mighty fine heading in there. But a team I got to point out, Day and Quanti, really liking their performance so far, and I think they're going to be able to make that rise to the top in these next 2 games.
Yeah, with only 2 to go in top 8, make the money. As you can see, it's a tight race there. As you see, Alex Gaming and Maddie, they're rounding out 9th and 10th place. But we're seeing so far the power of the Shockwaves. It feels like everybody and their mother has Shockwaves here in-game. It's getting crazy there, Lash.
Big time facts. I mean, you said after game number 2, like, yo, can I buy some Shockwaves myself?
You gotta buy some Shockwaves.
You know? Yeah, you gotta have that item shop wide open for some Shockwaves. I mean, we gotta have some on ourselves, so that way we can just be like, instant, pow. We make that big explosive play around here. But for those players, it's come out so significantly for them, because they've been able to change the course, even when it may not be for them in that kind of side of their court.
And at the same time, the Portafort has been a big monster in these games. You're seeing not only the double stack, the triple stack Portafort. So we'll see what goes down here in Game 4. We only got 2 games left here for the Nikkei 30 Invitational featuring Fortnite. The entire Fortnite category is popping off here. No matter where you're watching the games or your favorite streamer, I'm glad to join us again, Sancho West alongside Lash. Lash, what you got for Game 4, my friend?
Oh, it's getting juicy right now. You see the players picking their drop spots off so far. I'm interested to see where and whether or not these teams switch up the strategy, because they realize, all right, final 2 games, this is where we got to make a big change out in the feed. And Mega and Boyle are instantly starting to go for those elims.
Trying to get an easy elim right there. You're seeing so many action happening here. Those Star Wars Spade Sports, Pamso, Girly Bella, first time we've seen on the broadcast. I like to call this Bush City because there's so many bushes here. Pamso now and Girly Bella, no shield here. Gonna try to 50-50 inside of this warehouse. Jade gets kind of in trouble here, and that draw the error of all of a sudden, Jade loses a partner of Sap there. Sap almost timed that ambush here, and the Girly Bella goes down, but I have to definitely say that was more of a ping there, considering that Girly Bella is way off ping. So now it's going to be a 1v1 between Pamso and Jade here. And we're seeing, I would have to say right now, Jade has a lot more to work with than Pamso.
Yeah, most definitely. And so many of these teams just jumping into the fold right now. Heading into today, Jade and Sap were looking clean, uncontested, but like we said, literally just minutes ago, Pam, Stow, and Bella were like, all right, it's time to change up the pacing here we know exactly what we need to do. We need to drop onto some new players. And why not go to our next door neighbors of Jayth and Sap Games? Although Jayth has that advantage, sends off the fireworks, and now that's going to be able to leave off the marker onto Pamstow. Pamstow, though, leaving big damage down onto Jayth, getting him a little bit scared, but Jayth right there deals the damage right back. Pamstow onto 20 HP, and Elims are just filling the entire feed right now.
And now we're seeing the adjustments. So like I mentioned, more aggressions happening here on the north side. So many teams who had an easy-going drop in game one are no longer getting a free passage at all. And when you get into it, you talked about it. Oh no, Dane Kawante go down so early, bro. Yeah, Lash, dude, you got some kind of a curse on you, brother, as we see Jade picks up Pamso. So Pamso and Girly Bella go down. So a lot of the top of the board are going down early here in game 4, Lash.
Yo, I just gotta stop talking, telling the players by their names and hyping them up, because it just hasn't worked so far. I hype up Somerset and Bravo in the chat before game number 3. I hype up Day and Quanti before game 4. Both of them go down early. Like, I don't know. Got something. But Carlos and Alex, gotta be sure don't hype them up too much, because they need the succession rate. They go up here, the top roof. They go in. Here they go. You know, they pick up the Elims. They're too good. They can't be cursed by me.
Okay, that was a close call for Alex and Carlos fans out there. Close calls have been happening all over the map. We already saw a little piece of where the storm is. In the center is that new Indiana Jones there. Nick Merckx with the right-hand peek. Does not quite connect here. Goes in, does get some connections here. And Opt and Nick Merckx are sharing a dance there. But Maddie kicks out Aiden. And now the Boogie Bomb is just enough for Maddie and Opt to return the favor, give a receipt to Nick Merckx and Aiden. I just think Nick Merckx was not used to using that prime shotgun, and it cost him.
No, he was not indeed, and Nate Hill and NPen are trying to keep up that same exact line as they pick up the Elims onto Bewitching and Co. out there by Butterbloom. And honestly, a great start to the fight, but hey, that's where we see at Tilted Towers where those Boogie Bombs really come into play. When you're a duo heading against a solo, it works out perfectly, but Oliver doesn't need the Boogie Bombs right now. Maybe he did as he gets knocked, and Punisher's right there delivering the punishment. However, Maddie's right there to hit the shot right back, gets the knockdown, and now it's a 1v1 of situation. Port-a-Fort versus, well, no Port-a-Fort.
It looks like a rip maybe coming in from Landjock. Yes, it is. Landjock gets on top of the structure here. Loses Maddie into this metal fortress of these double-layer Port-a-Forts. Landjock decides to get the tag, and I think Landjock is going to go ahead and dip and dodge and get out of here. He's going to go ahead, and in pursuit is Maddie. Maddie, who calls herself the D-Gen Queen, streaming at all D-Gen hours, is now actually Landjock dipped right down, dove, and Maddie's out. I think Maddie did not want to have that fight, but the damage has been done. But Punisher is going to be able to get revived here. We saw Casker and Smack, who had a great run, found themselves a llama. Now they're in a weird spot here out here in Synapse Stations, and they're getting pushed.
Getting pushed out here, and this is the worst spot you could possibly get pushed around here. Right to the left side of Synapse Station. A Smack picks up the knock onto Voil, leaving Mega now a solo as Caster's trying to maybe pinch the feed a little bit, but no, Shockwave dips back. And now Smack's left to flare up the fight. Try and get a little bit of a marker on where exactly Mega is, but Smack finds him out in the open. Overshield now cracked. The new team in the back. That's gonna be NPen and Nate Hill. They came out here from Rocket Reels, and they want a piece of the cake right now from Smack and Caster. As now NPen pushing in the fight. Shockwaves come through, and now it's an all-out battle. All right, you can't catch me, nobody can.
NPen and Nate Hill looking into the playbook, and they found one, and it's called W. They are W keying everybody on the south. You talked about it, coming from Rocky Reels, and they went ahead and took out Bewitching and Co., understanding that their POI, where their landing's not that strong at that reality seed spot, and now they're just taking advantage of the momentum of picking up so many Elims. Smack and Casker, they have no choice now. Lash, they have to fight, because Nate Hill's here to fight.
Nate Hill's here to fight, takes that high ground. Casker's in some big trouble. Look at the flames just going out there down on the low ground layer. Nate Hill knows the importance of this battle along with NPen. They've taken high ground here, and now it's all a patience game. Shockwave goes up from Casker, knocks out Nate Hill. Left for NPen to try and solo clutch, but the damage dealt onto Smack Casker left alone, and there the returning shots fired from Nate Hill, massive to help out Npen. He's like, all right, don't worry, I got you. I got Shockwave away, but we're all good over here.
We're seeing the changes right now, and so many elims from Nate Hill, understanding he needs to climb up the leaderboard here. Demi takes out Talmy. Tear up the remaining duo mate gets taken out by Wonderchild. And Demi right now picking up some couple elims, 2 so far here at the gas station. But you got to look at it. Look, 2 points per elim, Lash, will be a factor. So that is going to be the reason why you're seeing the teams now step in on the gas pedal. They're trying to catch up here. Collazo de Roller, who've been patrolling the north side, now go to Daily Bugle and go up against Alex and Carlos.
They know exactly what they knew to do here, as Collazo taking the shots off the fire, the top of this Daily Bugle edge, and high ground is truly coming into play, but that tornado right there zipping by is also kind of maneuvering. They're like, yo, what's good? I want in on this party. The tornado's like, yeah, let me wreck in some havoc around this building and maybe see if you can make it out alive of everything that we throw at you. The island is fighting back, but no, Carlos and Alex are going to be able to take that chill pill right now, dip back into the building, and if they can rotate around the right side, they'll be good.
They've been doing really good considering that the loot they get out of Daily Bugle is so strong, and it's allowed them to kind of fuel their ride here into the top 10. The Roller and Collazo look to someone else rotating. Often Maddie here, who so far in today's games have claimed the title of Tilted Towers away from Nick Merckx and Aiden. But that's going to be quite interesting to see how that all unfolds here in the next frame here for Game 5. The Roller and Collazo getting a couple of tags on people rifting out. That could be Alex and Carlos maybe rifting out. Nope, they're still inside of there. Typical Gamer takes out Reddish. Reddish, a fan favorite as well, fighting out of EU. Goes down to Typical Gamer. Leon is the other member there who has experience in the FNCS here. But they've been doing a couple of things. I've been seeing Leon doing some work here. Reddish getting a couple of elims early on, but so far, I think right now it's just a matter of dealing with ping issues that could be a factor.
Definitely ping playing in a factor here, as Leon's just maybe ping playing a factor there of getting away from those players of Assault and Narwhal right there. But I think they noticed, hey, wait a minute, someone's lurking around here, and that's C-Bums wearing our game #1 winners here. And now they're taking the shots, getting those tags, dealing them back off. As now we have a mirror zone from what we saw in Game 2 here, Sancho. So do the same teams that did well in Game 2, do that same thing again here in Game number 4.
It all depends on the inventory. It's a great question. I think Zemi and Tifu, who are at Chonkers, will definitely benefit a lot from the zone. They've been in the top 5. They've been making every in-game when zone comes this way. It's the people from the north that are going to have that issues. The Collazo, the Rollers. As you do see, Storm Surge is going to activate, but in 0 builds, and the aggressiveness of this lobby, it won't be a factor here. The aggressiveness kind of continues on as Hippie Habitat and Larson now collide against Prospering and Zuma, who have yet to kind of make much kind of action here on the leaderboard today, but it could be the start of these 2 games here. Hippie Habitat and Larson on the full retreat, trying to get away from those bullets rattling on the backside of the semi-truck. They're going to go ahead and be happy with this building spot, Lash. But as you see in this zone here, that's going to involve a little bit of the north side of Condo and all these kind of valleys and crevices. This is going to be quite interesting, and there's going to be a lot of vegetation, including trees, to hide in.
Definitely going to be huge. Kind of reaffirming your foundation around that side of natural cover, which comes into play so much here in 0 build, and so many players also utilizing that to capitalize. Tifu in the elimination feed, picking up the elim onto FV there, as well as D-Roller out there popping off our last game Victory Royale winners. Zemi as well, kind of cleaning up that feed. So this is where we see our big dogs starting to rise back up and stay at the top. And we mentioned it early in this game. This is where you need to make that big time move.
We also saw the fight between Landjock and against Maddie's team. It looks like Landjock's team stands tall. They're able to get the elims on those. Collazo picks up another knock. Now we go to the marquee name of Nick 830 there, is making his rotate here. Landjock and Punisher trying to avoid the hot fire of Rhodey and Sizlucky, who are sitting on top of the board right now. They have a great plan utilizing the vehicles and the repair torch, but after Game 1, Lash, I haven't seen a lot of vehicles running around in in-game.
And as we say that, Cease and Walkers are like, what you talking about? We got a vehicle right here. We're ready to rock and roll here for Game 4. True, very shambles around here, but Sees and Rhodey out here in the desert trying to, I don't know, make them scorching a little bit more, you know, turn up the heat, turn up the notch there, because when you're hot and heavy out here in the action, you're going to end up falling in some insignificant scenarios out here. Palazzo and DeRoller picking up the elims of the feed as well, so kind of interested to see where Cease and Walkers find themselves. Meanwhile, Sizz and Rhodey are going to be out here taking off a cruise because they're out here on their own, however, lurking up onto many teams out here.
Alex and Carlos go down. We're taking a look at this storm here and the safe zone. It's going to be in this area. Like I mentioned, there's some trees to hide out in, some bushes here. A lot of people already camping out in the buildings of Condo Canyon on the north side, and still a lot of teams up north and on the west side of the storm line trying to make their win slowly. We're going to take a look at Nick 830 on the left side. On the right, it is Reverse 2K and Versa here. As we see, Maddie in F gets a knock and an elim on Nerd Out. But Nick 830 is one of those teams that are sitting on that north side of Condo Canyon. Great position. All he has to do is needs an upgrade in inventory, because right now, one Shockwave ain't going to cut it for in-game, my friend.
One Shockwave is not going to be it, but Elixa's got two, and Elixa's two Shockwaves have pretty much sent her back into trouble, as now Trix is left the only teammate left to clutch up there. As Versa and Reverse, we're just like, all right, you know, we'll take our knock, we'll take our damage. That's all we need around here in the building. They've got their firm foundational cover, and now they're absolutely vibing. But Rhodey and Sizz out here fighting against the duel of Somerset and Bravo, as one of the two is going to have to come out alive. It's going to be a tough battle as shots continue to brew. These players are truly scratching at the wall, fighting for everything they have.
This is what I'm talking about. These north rotate is going to be very difficult to make if you're not in position. Too many bushes, too many trees to hang out. Players like Headshot Chick and TK, who have the ability to beam you, will be hanging out. Sizz Lucky, Rhodey, number one spot, take up a couple of elims. Looks like Bravo takes out Clutch's team. And now Somerset, like you mentioned here. This is a great rotate for Bravo and Somerset. They just have to be careful here. Condo Canyon does have eyes on this coastline as Bonsai Bros, Travis, get taken out by Moose. So Nick 830 and Moo are making great effective use of their position inside the storm, inside the portal, as Maddie takes up another elim in the feed.
Great position being taken advantage of for a lot of these players right now. And now they have to put that into play right now to essentially bring you up closer and closer to the top. Bravo preparing that rift to go. Not quite yet, because they still do have zone. Rhodey Bros in the elim feed, picking up another one. Meanwhile, TK out here trying to hit the revive onto Headshot Chick. And now the entire environment is fire in the wilderness as they're trying to hopefully pick it back up. We didn't see Headshot Chick there falling in the elimination feed. I think they might have made it out of that fire alive, but here for Sizz Lucky and Rhodey Bros, they're out here picking off every single player out in front of their sights.
And they're gonna have to clear out this rotation. No, he just misses. It was so close. Rhodey almost got that knock in the tall grass, but they still have a tall order to make this rotate. They're pushing everybody out, making sure everyone uses their utility here, but now we're going to the chaos of this kind of traffic jam that's happening on the north side, where Rhodey's looking in. TK picks up two in the elim feed. TK with two elims here. Headshot Chick is still fighting. We saw them in a very tough spot where there's fire, and they just said, this is fine. And now they're going to go ahead and utilize the great use of the rift here and try to find a safe spot. And if I were them, I would find a tree.
Definitely got to find that some way of where of cover, especially this low on HP. They're diving down onto Nick 830, but Nick getting taken out by C-Bum. Here's Moo, somehow made it out of there alive, but now TK and Headshot Chick are starting to get into the action once again. Headshot Chick just getting absolutely dominated. They went up into the wrong bedroom there and unfortunately got taken out there by Jivy and Co. Meanwhile, TK's left to maybe try and stay very silent. Gonna be able to dip back though for that loot. Needs to stay as silent as possible. Although I think he might be taking this medkit a little bit too early. Hasn't quite found that cover right now. This is so dangerous.
I can feel right now the kind of the drama that's happening on that medkit. Now the kind of the coin of the tough rotate has shifted from the north to the south side here. We're going to stay on the north side to show you so many people jockeying as much as possible, inching their way in to the safe zone. Easiness working his way in with 4 elims, literally in this watchtower, but facing the firepower from D-Wolf here, who's on almost equal footing here. The watchtower comes down and everybody scrambles away. Like the lights come on at the club. It's time to go home and get away from this action that's happening right in front of your door, but porta forts are no longer safe. Another porta fort goes out, but Kuve's on the other side of it, and D-Wolf and Kuve are scrambling to the top side to avoid it, but no! The drive-by by shots! The big semi with the cow catcher takes out the porta forts.
The big time plays coming through with Swearin and Sebum taken out. Bravo and Somerset down and out for the count. It's an open field of array, and it's free fire for anybody that you can sight your attention onto. Sizz, Lucky, and Rhodey absolutely chilling, picking up the elims. And same thing goes for Nounsy and Coop. They have everything they need. Porta forts galore. Impulse grenades galore. They're out here absolutely vibing unlike any other, but Nate Hill and NPen looking to throw that same exact fire into the flame, into the footing. Nate Hill trying to just peek out whatever he can, because this duo knows the importance of knowing where these players are, because they need to make those rotates and they need to make them smartly. Rift to Go goes off, and now they're going to be able to take off to the skies.
You want thingamabobs? They got plenty. And right now, Nanzia Coop does have the momentum. I feel it with 11 elims, but the momentum comes to a screeching halt as Nate Hill says, hello, my friend. Inpin goes down, but Nate Hill gets the job done and cleans up the duo there. They had everything going their way, but now the attention of the lobby is coming too, as Leon there, who has been a solo for such a long time. Rhodey Bros and Sizz Lucky, literally with no HP, with just shield, kind of guided him through this end game. Can Nate Hill, such an old school name, we talk about the model looks of Rhodey Bros, but the old school model of Fortnite may rise, but now he's facing those shots from Rhodey Bros and Sizz Lucky. Can Nate Hill do this? I think he can. He has all the mobility in the world. He has all the inventory in the world, but does he have the moxie? Who knows? It may not come happen here because they are colliding and they are dive bombing on Nate Hill, and he gets out of dodge.
All into the battle of one. NPen left to go on that low ground position. D-Wolf trying to find that peak, that little bit of extra opposition into the base, as you have Jarian and Type Shots out here on the other side trying to take those shots and maybe get in the piece of the action. Meanwhile, Leon up in the sky. Shockwaves going back and forth there from Nate Hill. He dives straight down. Beautiful shots coming in from that 2-shot shotgun. Nate Hill has to hit the rift back up there. 59 HP up to the top. And Jarian and Type Shots down there on low ground, trying to take the shots right back down onto Nate Hill. Can he stay safe enough for the time being? And Jarian and Type Shots are pushing up this fight.
It's a top 4 situation. Nate Hill is a solo. D-Wolf is a solo. Jarian and Shots here are the duo. Now we're in a top 3. We've been all watching Nate Hill, who's had all the utility to survive this far, and he gets another elim. He could do this, Slash.
He could do this absolutely, but on 59 HP, needs to find that marker. Didn't quite get it. Tries to hit the shockwave out into the sky. Jarian and Type Shots take the final shot onto D-Wolf. He tried to peek along that supply drop, but Jarian and Type Shots dancing it out with the Victory Royale.
That is game 4 done, and wow, the action and the replays. Congratulations to Shots and Co. And we're seeing everybody go deep into the playbooks to try to do all that they can to get to the top 8. The top 8 is money, but wow, the aggression, the plays that we happen here from Nate Hill and NPen started early here, Nash.
Starting early, and that's exactly what they needed. It seems like the early aggression is exactly what these players have been earning for, and it's what the desire essentially brings into the end game, because that's what we've been seeing. Aggression gives you key, and that's what we saw early from TK and Headshot Chick. Unfortunately, that was their downfall later in, but beautiful eliminations. Hey, you got to get your points where you got to get your points.
And definitely the points have been racking up for some of the surprise duos here. No doubt, Rhodey and Sizz Lucky here, but it was a fun sight to see Nate Hill as a solo doing his best to make the clutch happen here in game 4. And he almost did it, but you said it, Lash, not enough HP.
Not enough HP at all. It was all left for the well-healthy to come away with that VR and Jarian and Type Shots. Quite a traditional just fashion out there to come away like, all right, we're gonna let you guys fight, make the mistakes, and like, all right, Easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
Okay, chat, you've been with us this entire ride. We're going to take a break because Game 5, the final game here of the Nikkei 30 Invitational featuring Fortnite, is a-coming. The big float is a-coming. Don't you go anywhere.
The atmosphere charting the stratosphere. I prayed for you and kept you near.
Are you ready, folks? I hope you are, because it is time for Game 5. Is this round of corner? Like I mentioned, it's a big parade, okay? Santa Claus is literally the last thing. It's a big parade. I'm excited. We see it. I hear him. Lash, it has been awesome casting these games with you, but now we have Game 5. My name is Sancho West. I got Lash, and hey, we also have standings. Let's go ahead and roll that big parade float here and show you what's at stake. Top 8 get money. As you see, prospering, making a quiet rise up the leaderboard, sneaking up here to the top 8, but it is so far. Rody Bros 137 points, X set, C set 101. Hippie Habitat got himself into that top 5, now in the top 3. Zemi, Tifu, and Zemi right now is slipping down a little bit. Jarian, though, with that great performance, getting into the top 5. Nate Hill with that great Elim push, now into the top 6. And of course, Coop, another one of those teams that kind of just chilling here. Day slips on down to the top 10. So that is the top 10. Lash, anything that we could hear or anything that you want the audience to keep an eye on here for Game 5?
We got to keep an eye out on that game number 4 Victory Royale. Champions of Jarian and Type Shots. A terrific job coming away with that Victory Royale there in game number 4. And now I'm liking the way that they're playing. I'm gonna be careful with my words right now because I don't want to curse this team. I love them too much. But a terrific, well done job that they did there in game number 4 to move in. And like we mentioned before we went to break, their patience led them up to the top, and patience has become such a major key today.
Absolutely, and that patience has been paying off for a lot of duos throughout the entire island, and particularly Jaren and Shots, who were the only duo in that in-game, making sure they could take out all those solos. But now it's Game 5, folks, and this is it. There's no time to make your move up their leaderboard. Zemi and Tifu, who were a strong pick to win this all, went down very, very early, but as you can see, they're very capable, though, Lash, of doing the double elims and the Victory Royale, and that 50 points can easily put them into that number 1 spot.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, if we know Tifu and Zemi at any stretch of the imagination, we know that they can go out and frag anybody that they pick to. It's just a matter of whether or not they got the facilities to do that as well, and I believe... Hey, if they want it that badly, if they want that first place that badly, they're going to have to take it
right,
and maybe drop down on Rody and Sizz Lucky.
No, I don't think they do that, but they definitely will keep an eye on the feed, and I'm just looking, because if Rody goes down, and then that's it. I mean, that opens up the door to a lot of people. I mean, yeah, he has a huge lead now, But I always say, man, in Fortnite, anything is possible. Someone could literally pop off. I've seen in the tournament, Tfue drop like a 30, 20 bomb in the tournament against everybody. It was early on in zero builds, yes, still, but it was like a 55-point swing all of a sudden. So it can happen, folks. You don't want to miss it. Here we go. All the fireworks have been happening here in the early game. It is game 5 of the Nikkei 30 Invitational featuring Fortnite. $20,000 will be doled out to the top 8, and it's going down right now, Lash.
It's time for the grand finale of the fireworks here as we lift off into the battle bus. Players picking out their final drop spot of the day, and they got to make a wise decision here. Which teams will stay at a constant and which teams will falter off to a different line, a different point, because they need succession here.
All right, chat. So much so the fan favorites, so much so the marquee names, some of your favorite streamers right now are on the island, boots on the ground here to try to put on a show for you and make sure they show out. Nikkei 30 and Moo have been involved in a lot of mid-game interactions, made it to a couple, one or so in games, but it just has not been enough. But what has been true, what has been just enough and more is Rody Bros and Sizlucky as Casker looks like goes into Tilted Tower. So Casker and Smack are going to go in there, and actually Nick Mercs and Aiden are not there. They went ahead and go right into the south side of Rocky Reels, and I don't know, man, this might be a wrap for the boys.
Yeesh. Aiden tries to withstand the big time sprays, and this is what I'm talking about. This is the kind of give or take situation where if you don't drop at your original drop spot, then you have to figure out the teams behind that back, and that's Bewitching and Chicken, as they were just like, you cannot just come out here, drop on us, and expect big W's. No, 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 no. You got to talk a couple learning lessons before you can even get close to touching us around here. So for Aiden, he's got to find his way and work around and maybe find that reboot back up. But as we swap into Zemi and Tfue, one of the teams that have done very well so far today, and they're yearning for that top spot.
Sitting with 97 points right now, and they have to make up a deficit about 40 points here. So it's going to be a double-digit game and the victory royale, and they have to hope Rody and Sizlucky go down. Cease is in second place. Cease is still, he is 36 points, so it's kind of almost the same situation. A lot of eyes are going to be on Rody and Sizlucky, as Cease and Walkers are going to go ahead and get access to the vault. Thieves and Replay are not in the top 10, but they've still been doing really well in today's games.
Most definitely here. They need that rise to the top, along with many teams. Top 8 is the line for the money right now here today. So a bunch of teams, even if it means going in off spawn, like a fight that you usually don't do, Trix has to bring the battle to Byla. But Byla's like, do you know me? And takes him out. As down goes Elixir, down goes Trix, and now leaving them down and out for the count. That will be the end, unfortunately, for them. Tfue, though, picking up a big name, and that name is Aiden. So Aiden and Nick Mercs as well, down and out for the count.
Big names are slowly leaving today's game. Alex, Rab, and Carlos now get activated, realizing that they do have a shot into make some money here. They were in the top 10. They slipped slowly out of it, and now they're being aggressive here, going up against Sparkles QT. With a father and son duo, just a little bit too strong. They take out Sparkles quickly, but now you're seeing the adjustments that are making here, and you gotta make the adjustments because you gotta leave it all out. You don't want to go ahead and be like, man, we could have done this, we could have done that, and that's why you're seeing the teams are activated. The elims are happening so far. 13 players are gone. 4 duos are out of this match.
4 duos out of the match, and many will continue to keep on falling. Spunky to the hands of Headshot Chick and TK. They hit the little dance. They're like, all right, you know, when you hit out on the bush, you gotta beware for us as well. Meanwhile, Cease and Walker's right there fighting against Day and Quanti, and this is a tough battle of brewing right now as Day and Quanti are just hunting for that boogie bomb. They're trying to get the dances and the vibes. Walkers may have just vibing right there with that boogie bomb. No, doesn't connect, and now Day and Quanti are not gonna follow this race. Quanti, though, maybe a little bit. Nope, ditch back.
Yeah, we've been seeing a very amicable split between the two. Just a peace at the Rave Cave, but that music of peace is now over, and it's all rock hard metal, and they're all trying to get away from all that. But hey, they need to kind of stay alive here. They're in 70 points in the top 10, and Cease right there definitely wants to stay alive considering he's in second place. Jivy and Duo out here near the gas station that we've been seeing a lot of the teams like acting like Tommy and Tarif kind of collide onto. Ranger, I was hoping Ranger Noah W plays would have a better day today. I was considering that they're so creative. We did see Noah W try to do a cheeky play, but nope. Ranger gets destroyed by Jivy. Jivy deletes Ranger, and out he goes to go back to chasing crowns. No longer be able to chase the money here today, but Hippie Habitat is definitely in the chase for the money. He's in third place, tied with Cease's exit here, so he has a chance as well to catch first place.
That's what it's all down to. All you need is a chance. Like you mentioned, anything can happen in the game of Fortnite, especially in that final game, which here, folks, game number 5, the $20,000 Nick A30 Invitational here today, as it's down to this final wire, the final game, and teams like Larson and Hippie, a team right in there at the top 3, are fighting for every shot that they can get, and I think they're carring to get even more elims because they know they need it.
And yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. That's how they've been doing today's game. Elims, the active in the early to mid game. I haven't seen them much in the end game. They were able to sneak and get a couple of those, big placement points, but nothing so far into the end game where they're in the top 3 with those elims. And they could get those placement points, they could get a victory royale. No doubt it gives them a shot. I wonder what's going on with Rhodey. Like, are they being aggressive? Are they deciding to chill out as we go to the game 4 winner of Shots and Jaren? And they seem to be on the chill out route.
On the chill, on the vibin' route, as they're over here on the new side of the map, entering here into Season 3. They're vibing. They know what needs to be done to be out successful here. So tune on the very own Nick A30 and Moo, as they've done decent today. But I'm expecting a big comeback from this duo so far. I believe that they can make it happen. They've got the firepower, and they have the rise to the top.
Couple of the teams that have been doing some great plays here today, as we're going to take a look at people out of the top 10. Maddie and Oliver OG, and cross swords with Landjock and Punisher, now crossing swords with Boyle and Mega here. Even though they're on a Porter Fort, it is very weak structure when he's being shot at, considering that they did balance it out. Now it looks like Mega might be the only person here they have to fight alongside, as Boyle does go down to Maddie's beams. So you hear that combat, what is that? That SMG, man, it's such a wild thing, that charged SMG. You don't want to hear it in the early game because you don't have enough HP to deal with it.
Especially here in zero builds, you can't go essentially defend it because you got no cover, especially here in the situation that Mega was in once before, but somehow dipped back into the mushrooms and is able to stay safe for the time being. But Maddie and Oliver need to find the heals. They don't have anything in the indication of sights to find these eliminations, at least quite yet. But the flare gun has now been fired. Mega has been scoped out. 15 HP and a dream. Big time beams. The knock on to Maddie. Hold up, wait a minute. Mega trying to flip the script, but no. The script and the table fall right back onto him as Mega now falls. And TK and Headshot Chick are now hot in the battle.
Almost was able to pull that situation out here, as we're seeing the early battles here just all over the map, as now they're making the rotation to the zone 2 here. And there it is. Jade, who had a great start to the day, is out of the entire tournament. But DeRoller and Colazzo, who have been doing a great job in these back half of games here, has been activated. They're not in the top 10 yet, but if they could have another double elim and a victory out, or close to victory out performance, as Colazzo did go down in the top 2, I think no doubt that will put them at least in the chance for the running. I'm taking a look at the top 10 chat. Not a lot of noise from Prospering. We saw Dave for a little bit. Nothing out of Assault. Coop's team has been chill. Nate Hill, not as aggressive as we saw in game 4. Jarian we saw for a little bit. Haven't seen much of Tifu and Zemi just yet. Hippie Habitat we see him patrolling. And Cease we haven't seen as well getting active in the feed. It's been all chill for the top 10. And Somerset and Bravo, your pick. I just think that it's for where they land. The rotations have been tough, and a lot of zones have been going their way towards Condo Canyon. They just haven't been able to put it together here today, Lash.
It's been an unfortunate battle. I'll take the caster curse. It's fine. But hopefully that curse can be broken here in the final game. They've already picked up 2 eliminations so far, so hopefully they'll be able to take that rise up to the top. And here again, we see that zone pulling into the desert for, I believe, the third or if not fourth time today. So this has been a constant theme that these teams need to get used to and are pushed to get used to fast, as Rich Homie Quinn and Typical Gamer in the battle against Reverse UK and Versa up here on high ground, but Quinn gets punished down. He doesn't have any white HP to keep himself alive. Typical Gamer has to chop down that tree. No shots connected yet, but those final shots connect for Typical Gamer, just able to stay alive out here in zone, and now they need to be on the push to get back into zone.
We saw a look at that zone there, Lash. I gotta say, yes, it's gonna be a desert zone, so that's gonna benefit the people that want Zemi and Tfue to do well, considering that they're in Condo Canyon, and I think they have a really good position here on the plateau. People like Nate Hill and Inpin, who patrol outside of Rocket Wheels. Where I took a look at Rocket Wheels, there's none of their sight in there. We did see a couple of duos in there, and the movie theater screen's on fire, so the teams that are already set up here are going to do well, but when it comes to zero builds, you don't want to set up too early unless you have the firepower and all the inventory you need to withhold that. So the teams like Blaya, Legion here, they're going to have to make a slow rotate in as much as possible. As you see out there, Prospering and Zuma were in the top 10, and they Smack actually eliminates Inpin. So now we're going to take a look at that. Yeah, here it is. Nate Hill in a 50-50 here. Nate Hill using the boogie. Nate Hill getting it down. Nate Hill understands he has time. Hits him with another boogie. Nate Hill doesn't care. Nate Hill's going to go ahead and get out of dodge with the rift. But what a clutch play from Nate Hill, keeping his chances alive considering he's in top 6. But you talked about it. When you're ripped in zero builds last year, there's not a lot of opportunities for you to survive.
Not at all. Nate Hill dives straight down, looking for the Boogie Bomb play again, but
Again,
Boogie Bomb
bro.
hits down. Nate Hill
Again,
still somehow
bro.
survives, needs another Boogie Bomb, but rips directly out. He can't go
And he
down the
rips.
storm. On little HP, Nate Hill needs to fight for his life up there in the sky. Casker just trying to seek him out, try and find the shots here, and maybe just take him out. No, dives down into the building. So smart there from Nate Hill. 4
No
health
shot.
and a dream. As now, I think he's going to be able to get away swiftly here.
Rody Bros, who's in the top spot, picks up an Elam on V-Witching, but wow, the 9 lives of Nate Hill, the kitty cat plays, keeping him alive, and he finds himself streamer loot. As you can see, you got the Medi, and there's no arrows in sight, but we all know Zemi and Tfue have sight lines on everybody around here, so this is going to be wild to see who is going to be able to come out on top here again. Not only are they going to get money lash, but 500 outfit codes, 250 per player, will be awarded as Nate Hill ride is over. Casker gets revenge. Zemi picks up acting like Tommy here, and looks like Cozy alongside with Pixie, who hasn't make a lot of noise today. Here, Cozy is going to try to survive here with her time here on the broadcast.
Trying to stay alive, but no. Vila once again flexing it out. Picks up the Elam alongside Legion here. They come out on top. Meanwhile, Bravo picks up that knock out there in the feed, gets the full Elam, and lives out the full refresh of that team there as well. A very smart play from both of those teams. Speaking of smart, Larson and Hippie Habitat, our team that is in 3rd place heading into this game. They are on the run for the top, the run for the glory. They need these Elams, hopefully, to get the +4 points, because that could be massive right now because of how close this leaderboard really is.
They absolutely need it. They need it to kind of push up ahead here. Rody Bros has picked up Elam, so that kind of 30+ point lead has grown just a little bit. It is literally all in Rody Bros and Sizlucky hands. They don't have to do anything extra. They just have to make sure that they survive and pick up the placement points to keep up with the rest of the lobby. Now we're going to take a look at the 2nd place here of Cease. This is basically 2nd and 3rd. They are tied here. We're taking a look at where they're moving up here to see, can they do that? Look at this. Only 2 elims, so they've only kind of put 4 points on the board, and Rody Bros has kept up the pace. So this is not enough movement on the board right here in the top 3, Lash.
Not at all, not one bit. And one thing I've noticed throughout this entire day is Rody Bros and Sizz just know how to position themselves as the best of the best, and that's
look at
why
that. Nice.
they picked up 2 elims so far, up on the top of the 4-4, and they are just picking off everybody that they see out here in the open. Even the shockwave to bounce them back out. Jivvy and FV out in the open. Jivvy left the shreds, now knocked down, and count it, another elim for Rody Bros and Sizz.
There is a quick look at the leaderboard. As you see, it hasn't changed since it goes, but it could change here. The 50-50 is Demi's and Cole, and holy, everything just goes crazy as Jivvy was there, Demi was there, a lot of people were there, but who stands there at the end of the day? It is Rody Bros and Sizz Lucky who are now counting their lucky stars, and they're adding a lot of more of money to their bank accounts, because that right now, that could be the game and done for the entire tournament.
No doubt, most definitely, as Larson and Hippie Habitat, though, trying to throw it in their name up at the top because they know what's on the line. Huge beams coming through, though, as fights are brewing. Sizz Lucky down. Rody Bros, 15 HP, trying to stay out of the sight lines. Can he clutch up? No, not one bit, as the hands of Prospering and Zuma, a team breaking into that top 10 starting into this game, have just taken out first. So one big elims, one side to the top team, and also for them, because that is another +4 points.
Woo! The door is open. It's not open by a lot. It's like closed, but it's unlocked. Someone's going to have to kick this door down if they're going to have a chance to win. That's going to be C's Hippie Habitat and Zemi. I think Jurian is just a little bit too far. No, Jurian has a chance. There's just not a lot of points on the board considering that elims will be the thing. But Tifu gets activated. Tifu gets a knock on Jurian. This could be the start of Tifu and Zemi. They're going to confirm Jurian. So that is going to be a big wrench in Jurian's ride here in the top 5. A lot of money to be played. Thousands of dollars here in the top 5 is still up for grabs. And Season Walkers are trying to grab as much zeros as possible.
As much zeros as possible, as they're staying as zero as they possibly can here. Staying at a still point, chilling in the truck. They don't want to move yet. Yeah, so many teams above them, and more teams will continue to rise up towards the top. But as builds continue to rain fire out, Tifu picks up that elim on the type shots, as now they are literally praying that nobody passes them up on that top 8, because they went up into the top 5 after game number 4, and now they have to pretty much just be hopeful that Tifu and Zemi don't overcome and continue to stay up on top. Hippie Habitat in the elim feed also picking that up, as Day and Quanti still chilling here, still hungry for that top spot as well.
Still waiting to make their highlight play. It is Moo and Nick A30 here hanging out in the shuffled shrines here, trying to see if they can find anybody who's going to be in shambles. Prospering and Zuma in the Porter Fort here looking over. It looks like Day and Quanti don't like that there's somebody underneath them. Headshot Chick did pick up a couple elims here. TK and Headshot Chick on the outside on that left side, where it's coming down to the final moments here of game 5. Hippie Habitat, Prospering both pick up 2 elims. Hippie Habitat is getting activated. He's trying to get those elims here, trying to make a catch up here in them. So we got a race for second and third here. And Day and Quanti stop that race for Hippie Habitat. Hippie Habitat goes down, but Zemi picks up Walker, so Cease's duo is in trouble. Is Cease down? He could be, but Dayan so far has stopped Hippie Habitat.
Huge elims already brewing right now.
9 elims, bro. They're doing it.
They're doing it. They heard you before the game, and they're ready for it. This is their chance. This is their rise, their chance to the top. Day and Quanti, though, looking to throw it up into the feed.
Cease is out.
Rift to go sends them to go. Cease out of the battle, and Day and Quanti dive straight back down, knowing the importance of this positioning. Beautiful, beautiful Porta Fort being thrown down there, and now the battle goes against Tifu and Zemi. Zemi throws himself out, open a little bit longer, and Zemi now down. Left to Tifu to try and clutch up this battle, as now their battle and their livelihood is completely stand upon on them staying in the top 8 right now, and now this is risky. Tifu able to get this revive back up. Shockwaves picked back up, so this team's gonna be able to stay alive out here at the top. Meanwhile, Day and Quanti up in the battle.
Second and third are frozen in place, and Zemi's team alongside Tifu are making their move up. But Day and Quanti, as you mentioned, are trying to get in the money.
Oh my.
Take out Carlos. Now they take out Punisher. Now they got eyes on Somerset. Now they turn face in 180 to go up against Assault. But here it is. Bonsai Bros goes down on Assault. Assault now is going to keep going in. Prospering takes out Somerset. The entire lobby is colliding, and Zemi and Tifu. Tifu gets a knock here. Tifu now is going to most likely put himself in the running for second place. But first place is still available here, Lash.
It's all open. Tfue picks up another knock. That's on the Quanti here, as another Elim continues to break out. Day still left to qualify here on the top. Over the round of this brick, of this top. Natural cover, huge for Day right now, as Prospering still up in arms above the side. Damage coming through. Knock out there. Day knocks and capitalizes, has the shockwaves as well. So as he continues to pile and dip back and forth between this brick, he's still able to stay alive. Meanwhile, Prospering could get revived here. He finds shots in the back end. That's another knock, Sancho.
He doesn't get the mantle that he was looking for. He decides to res his teammate, but Tfue and Zimmy are right behind them. The beams from Day, it has so far been on point today, but can he go ahead and get the res? And if he does, that's going to be a huge gun to have on his side here. Zemi picks up an Elim on assault here. Tfue and Zemi, they are making the furious comeback off the leaderboard. Can they finish in first place here, as they have singled out Zuma here? Zemi gets sent into the storm, but now he's back in it. Tfue and Zemi now making the rotation on the bottom right. Zuma getting the beams here. Prospering is going down to the hands of Day. Tfue does get Zuma. Another 2 points for Tfue. Tfue now has no shield. He's sending the beams on the top side. Day goes down, but Kawanti comes up and gets a knock on Tfue. Kawanti and Zemi are now going toe-to-toe, but Kawanti, risen from the grave, gets 2 big Elims and stops the rise of Tfue and Zemi.
Absolutely insane right now, but it's
Nick
down to Nick 830 and Moo up on high ground. Shockwaves up. Quanti left to go. And Nick 830 and Moo with the final victory royale of the day. Absolutely insane, Sancho.
You got something for everybody. Nick 830, the man of the day, gets a dub. Well, wow. There was something for everybody, Lash. What an unbelievable finish.
Just absolutely amazing. You couldn't have written a better story where the tournament host of Nick 830 comes away with the last victory royale, and maybe, just maybe, that rose them up into the top 8. That was just, I'm speechless at this point.
You never know. The ultimate comeback, as Nick 830 and the A team always says, never back down, never give up, and they never did. They hung out there in the shuffled shrines, and they did all that they could. Zero builds. It's all about chilling. It's all about waiting for your opportunity, and they struck at the right opportunity. But we're gonna get everything ready to go as much as for you to announce who the winner is, because it was, man, the leaderboard really got shuffled at the end there, Lash.
Absolutely, but we gotta toss it up to a quick break here as we fester up all that leaderboards, because folks, that got a little bit too crazy. We gotta reel it back here. We gotta figure out who all this is gonna come away with this, because you gotta grab your popcorn, grab your water, because this is going to be good. We gotta toss to a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Wow, what a great day of Fortnite action. Zero build, doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we had a wild ride here at the Nick 830 Invitational. $20,000 will be doled out here in a moment here. Of course, this is featuring Fortnite. My name is Sancho West, alongside Caster Lash. And if you miss anything, folks, you definitely need to check out the VOD, because that Game 5, it literally had it all, my friend.
Facts. It had everything we needed, especially the one and only victory royale winners of Nick 830 and Moo. As they came away with the last dub, they were like, all right, let's make that final statement. We come out on top. Nobody is contesting us. We're just the best of the best. Nobody's stopping us, even in our own tournament.
And we could definitely see this could be the start for Nick 830. I've always said, Nick, just guys, gotta get some momentum going his way. Always a good dude. The power of positivity, the A team, and no doubt being able to win. I know the post is gonna happen. There's gonna be a banger of a video, because there was very dramatic there, being kind of pinned down there in the shuffle shrines. But congratulations to Nick. But that is not the only winner of today's games. Yes, chat, you are the winner for enjoying this awesome action that all these players put in front of us, but we still have yet to crown the winner. I have to say, man, being in that position for Rhodey, we don't know if he's gonna win yet. We're gonna let the math figure it out. But Lash, really tough situation to be in, considering that you had so many people like Zemmy's Tfue, Hippie, Habitat and Co., and Cease and Walkers nipping at your heels.
Most definitely. And in those final moments, it was almost very difficult. And no, it was very difficult. Not even almost. No, it was. Because every player started fighting. And then you were just down to that little last point. Like, oh, I really hope nobody finds me out here. Because you, like you said, you have Day, Quanti, Cease, and Walkers. You have Tfue and Zemi just absolutely fragging out in those final moments. And then having Rhodey and Sizz down a little bit early in that endgame just left it all out to a bubble tier. It's like, I don't know who's going to be able to come out on top here.
And it just shows you Day getting that res on Quanti was huge. I thought, Day could easily mantle on top of the Porta Fort, look down on Zemi and Tfue. But if Day does not get that res on Quanti does not take down Tfue and Zemi. It all happens here. And no matter what went down last, it all ended up on the leaderboard after 5 games. The winner of the Nikkei 30 Invitational here on Boom TV is Rhodey Bros. They were able to hold out, look at that, bro, by 3 points. If it wasn't for Quanti, who got risen from the grave and took out Zemi and Tfue, it would have been Zemi and Tfue's dub. But what a great look at that. From the bottom of the board in 10th place all the way to 3rd, Day comes into the top 3 and tied alongside with Cease. Of course, tiebreakers being a factor there, but wow, what a leaderboard. I gotta say, great show from everybody here today.
Big time facts and a big time W for Rhodey Bros team in first place at 152, because not only do they take home that 6,000 total prize, as well as having a total of 500 skin codes per player to give out to their communities. Just an absolutely big time W for them over there. And honestly, it's just too good. But we got to kind of focus on that top 8 margin, because we saw a lot of tiebreakers within there. You saw a lot of people that close, and even those little decisions of, do I get this revive from Day onto Quanti, taking out Zemi, it all just led into that one little winner choice.
And there it is again, just a refresher of the leaderboard. Rhodey Bros alongside with Sizz Lucky will get the lion's share of that $20,000 cash prize, alongside 500 outfits, 250 piece to give to their community. So many outfits and so many winners throughout the entire day. Not only the people that you see on the leaderboard, but the respective communities. But in a great showing, and what a great ride. I can't believe it. Like, it's really rare that you find a Fortnite tournament that has something for everybody, even though I know some people didn't have a great run, and I've been on that. I've been on that part of the coin as well. It's like, you just like, hey man, I only got one elim all day. But regardless, I had fun today. Lash, final thoughts in today's games?
I had an absolute blast as well with you, Sancho. This was just all that you could have. You had so many flavors. You had the cornucopia of the pickings for these battles, and it was just absolutely insane. I don't even know. It was just that good, to the point where it's like, yes, I got all that I wanted from this and more in here in Zero Build. Is just too good.
It's so good. I mean, you had everybody, streamers versus streamers. Great final thoughts. Myself here as Sancho West, I had a great time calling all the action, especially working with you, Lash, for the first time. I think we got something going here, and no doubt Zero Builds has something going here for all the fun. Shout out to everybody that watched the show. Shout out to the production team at Boom TV, and of course, shout out to Nikkei 30 for making this invitational happen. $20,000 went out to some good people, and of course, shout out to the people at Epic Games. Have a good day. We'll see you on the next one. Adios.